Wow! Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV podcast number 123. You're here with Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and Johnny V. You got a new shirt on there, buddy?
It's not a new shirt, but it's one I haven't worn on the podcast before. It's been kind of sitting in my closet. We're going to go a little personal on Johnny V time.
Yeah, we are.
I have one dresser, like just one.
That's
one.
cute.
Exactly. And so the other day I was stuffing it with T-shirts, and I turned to my wife and said, "Listen, I need something else." She has these wonderful Target. Basically, they're big empty squares that you put bins in. You can slide them.
Sure.
And I said, "Get me two of them, please." So as I'm cleaning things out, then I'm able to pull things out of my closet, winter clothes, all this other crap. And I found this shirt sitting in the back, and I was like, I haven't worn this in like a year, and I've never worn it on the podcast particularly, but. And then, so I brought it to my trip to Minnesota today.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, when it's exciting times we have.
Yeah,
These
definitely.
are exciting times we live in.
That's exactly what everyone was hoping for.
Yep.
And my only story about my attire is
You're keeping it on, aren't you?
I'm keeping it on this time.
Okay, good.
I don't know if you've seen any of the recently released video. I proceed with caution, I think is something that I said. I've just learned to love this particular sweatshirt, and I recently took a trip, and I didn't have it with me. This is I don't know if it's my comfort sweatshirt or what, but I seem to take this thing with me everywhere I go. It's incredibly lightweight. It's no thicker than a long sleeve shirt, but yet I seem to wear this everywhere I go. So tonight, sporting the old Smashbox, one of our Smashbox first run Smashbox dry fits, along with the sweatshirt over top.
I don't even have one of those.
Even busted out the PDGA hat, thanks to our friends over at the PDGA, one of their original pinstriped hats. Big fan of it. Nice and worn in. Tonight's show brought to you in part by the Chaining in the New Year 2016.
Wow. So an event you're running is helping sponsor the event.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see the check for that.
You should. I'm sponsoring it with content because after the event, there's going to be things to talk about. Hence, the event is sponsoring.
Wow.
And for those of you at home, do not try that trick on me and say, could you announce our event? Because then you'll have content. No, that only works on this end. But sign up, PDJC tier, December 31st. At a pitch and putt course, relatively short and easy, in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Again, get signed up right away. A trophy-only option, which is something we did a few weeks ago at the Cold Turkey, and we'd love to see you guys come out and play. We've got a handful signed up. Everything just kind of moved real quickly. I got to thank Jen out there for the help on the logo, and please just go get signed up. We'd love to see you in Kenosha. Other people we'd love to see is someone that we've been missing for quite some time. Johnny, I'm not sure this is the time for him to make his return. Just a week ago, we saw that I had posted the round from Nantucket, the skins match that took place on Friday, the day before the Nantucket Open happened, and we put that out there live. But the skins match was recorded, and to get him warmed up, to get his voice acclimated, to get him in front of the camera and doing his thing for us, calling the shots live, was Dana Vicich. And Dana's been taking a verbal online beatdown for the last week.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's taken a beatdown. Some people didn't quite get the humor. They missed it.
What?
As you explain, I'll provide a quote or two. Go ahead.
So Dana was kind enough to help us out in our time of need for the Nantucket Open. And he came out there and helped us out, and he did commentary for the live, which every time we've ever had Dana on, nothing but greatness.
Everybody loves
greatness, I would say. Like
Yes.
Hall of Fame caliber. Like retire Terry, bring in Dana.
They say bring in the real Redbeard, I think is what they've said.
I believe I've heard that.
I'm an imposter. I'm a fake.
Well, yeah, more or less. And then there was the skins round.
Yes, from Friday.
Excuse me. The skins round from Friday. And Dana wasn't anywhere near the players. He's thrown out, some jokes here and there. And some zingers, maybe. And some people didn't necessarily get the jokes.
They didn't get it. Nathan Potter, and this is, of course, found on my YouTube page.
We're going to call people out. It's always nice.
That's fine. He's logged in as Nathan Potter, had said, the commentary is hilariously harsh. So Nathan seemed to be okay with it, and he appreciated it. However, Don later said, yeah, he is definitely pretty negative. And then as I scroll down, some of the other comments that came in, somebody said they loved Dana's commentary. That was unfortunately one of the minorities. However, sorry, Dana had made a comment saying, I wish she would just throw. What an ass, is what someone had said. Dana was joking about some of the competitors that were kind of getting ready and getting in position to throw. And again, some people just didn't fully get it. Hopefully people liked it. Somebody said the commentary was savage. Someone said they did enjoy it. So it looks like a mixed review, but he's been taking a beating.
Well, no better time than for us to introduce, the man missing the our friend in need, our friend indeed. In fact, I'm going to give him this.
Oh, let's do it.
Boom goes the Danamite.
Danamite!
What's up, boys?
Hey, buddy.
We got a flaky internet connection here, but we're gonna fight through it,
All right.
and we'll be all right.
You guys sound a little robotic over there. I'm gonna blame Terry.
That
something he did.
that
He's
could be.
fooling around with cables or wires, but
he's probably uploading something,
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
I don't know. Make sure nobody on your side's watching Netflix, or maybe Ashley doesn't have the whole family sitting around watching Dana on Smashbox, and just saying.
Nope. It's all clear on my end. So
All right, good.
I've cleared the internet space. I said, Ash, you got to go to bed early. I'm making my return to Smashbox, and she looked at me and said, "Don't insult anybody."
I thought she was
Don't
gonna
make
say.
anybody mad.
I thought she was gonna say they still do that.
Yeah.
No. She gave me a little more. She gave me a little. Keep it cool. Don't need to start no drama or any of that. So.
All right. Well, let's get to it, because there's so many people that have missed you, namely us. But there's so many people that have missed you. You've been on a little hiatus of your own choosing. This season wrapped up, sometime for you primarily around like the September, October timeframe, and you've run some events and done some smaller things. But for the most part, you've been kind of low key since that September, October timeframe. What has this year done for you? It was the kickoff to the Pro Tour, but for Dana and your endeavors and all the things you've got, all the irons in the fire that you have. What's 2017 meant for you?
2017
or 16? Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoa, getting ahead of myself. Yeah. What's 2016? If you could put it in a nutshell. I know you've got some some things you're going to share with us from your perspective, but what are some of the personally? What are some of the things that you've experienced?
Yeah. Personally, it really has been a tremendous year for me, just in life. Edith, my daughter's obviously getting older, and just every day is more and more fun, and I've been pretty lucky in my life, and it's hard to believe that life keeps getting better, and it has.
How old is Edith now?
She's 16 months old.
6 months. Oh yeah, that's like perfect time.
Yeah, and every day is just great. I'm busier than heck. On top of being a father and a husband and all that, it's been a busy year working with Disc Golf Park. Just finished up first design for Disc Golf Park in Tinley Park, Illinois, the Meadows Disc Golf Park. They've got, as of Friday or as of the weekend, they had 9 baskets installed and holes installed on the rest. So seeing the light at the end of the tunnel on that. I'm starting a new project in Illinois that I'll announce at a later date. But been busy on that front, and disc golf. It was a little bit of a disappointing year for me, but I did have some really nice, couple really nice events there. The first one being Disc Golf World Tour. Went out to La Mirada, and I think I finished just outside the top 10 there. And then as you guys know, and a lot of you Smashies saw, I made a nice run in the Disc Golf Pro Tour finals.
Yes,
And
you
then,
did.
of course, joining you guys on Smashbox on Tuesday nights, and then also with Terry on the field, chit-chatting it up, talking disc golf. That's been pretty exciting for me as well. So again, just to reiterate, it's been a great year for me and an exciting one, but I've also had a few bumps, like of course there's the whole Facebook Live thing that I got into it with a lot of people with, and that I felt strongly about, and I believe I might have went about that the wrong way, but that's how I felt about that situation. So
we're well worn. We're well worn in this territory, Dana. With you, going back all the way to, I think, the American Disc Golf Tour. That not this past year, obviously. I think that was 2015, and we've always said we're always happy to have you here and speak your mind. We don't ever expect you to hold anything back. And your opinions are your opinions, and they don't necessarily reflect us. But I'll say this: 9 times out of 10, I agree with them. So we're always happy to have you, and we're always happy to hear from you.
Well, thank you. I've just, part of my hiatus is I'm so involved in disc golf and in so many different aspects. I've got my hand in 10 different, just anywhere you turn in disc golf, I feel like I'm involved in some way or another, and sometimes it gets to be a bit too much, especially in this day of social media. And with that said, I've kind of tried to step back from Facebook and all that as well a little bit, delete it off the phone, just get on it certain times, and part of that was stepping back from Smashbox just because it was just a little too much, and I was getting a little too invested and maybe emotional about it. But I care about disc golf a lot, and clearly I have some strong opinions on some things. So, but with that said, I'm happy to be back, and there have been some great moments in 2016 in disc golf outside of my few highlights, and I would like to talk about that with you guys, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't expect that, but I am happy to listen.
All right, so
do we get to vote, or these are Danamite's top 5 or so moments? Do we get any interjection here?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Hop in when you can, whenever you want.
I've been known to have an opinion once in a while.
Keep in mind, you guys sound like robots just a little bit on my end. So if you hear me, if you see me squinting or something, that's why. But all right, number 5. A little bit of a shameless plug here for us. But Smashbox TV bringing live disc golf pro tour action and live disc golf action to the masses, to the disc golf world. Now, you guys definitely got better. You did a great job. But a few of the highlights for me were the playoffs, the Vibram Open between Bradley Williams and Michael Johansson. That was really exciting. And then there was the epic playoff between Ricky Wysocki, Nate Sexton at the Majestic. And but really the highlight of the Smashbox season, I would say, had to be the Disc Golf Pro Tour Finals. Multiple card coverage, multiple commentators, stats, Johnny V killing it behind the scenes, everybody on site running around. Just awesome disc golf action. I obviously didn't watch it live, but I've gone back and I've watched it. Pretty darn good coverage. And thank you, JV, Terry, rest of the Smashbox TV crew, all the camera guys that you worked with this year, all the other commentators, Steve Dodge, for bringing you guys onto the Pro Tour. You guys got big shoes to fill for next year.
We know. We're already crying in our sleep about it.
Yes. Bigger, better, and tougher. Speaking of shoes, we'd like to thank Keen Footwear, although that was not tossed up by you, Dana. But I'll take the chance. I'll take the opportunity. Keen supported the Pro Tour, and Keen supports us here at Smashbox. So thank you to Keen.
I wore Keens all weekend, or all week. I did. Nice.
Would that be a queen? A Keen week? Would that be a queen?
That doesn't even make sense.
I know.
It's not even funny.
I was trying to think how to pronounce the Kween. Would that be queen, technically?
Dana, number 4. Let's.
If I'm not laughing, it's either A, because you're not funny, or B, because I can't hear you. Number 4 on my list is the Sarah Holcomb versus Madison Walker showdown out on the East Coast at Sabattis during the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships this year. It was a pretty epic battle that saw a rising star in Madison Walker make a run at her first major title. She was vying to be the second kind of, I don't want to, no disrespect to Hannah Leatherman, but kind of the second, what's the word I'm looking here for, Johnny? Second surprise winner in a row. I mean, Hannah's an
non-established.
Player,
Yeah. She's the underdog. I mean, an underdog, a second underdog win, because everybody.
Yeah, underdog. I was just blanking again. Hey, this is my first time live here in a minute. I'm sweating over here. I'm forgetting what I'm supposed to be saying. But yes, the second underdog in 2 years to win the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships. But it was a pretty awesome battle. It came down to the stretch. I believe Terry's got the coverage on his Disc Golf Guy YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, shameless plug, go check it out. It's pretty awesome. But Sarah was able to stave off Walker and prove why she's one of the best in the game. And by my math, this was Sarah's third major title. I believe she's got her world title in Charlotte. And then she also has, she won in Portland, the U.S. Women's a few years back. And this was her 7th win on the year. So pretty good year for Sarah. Second year of legacy. She fought through some injuries, but was able to hold off Madison there and take down her 7th win of the year.
Solid battle on a solid course at a major event. All of that, I think, just adds up to a pretty good moment in this year. And maybe just to finalize that point, unfortunately to her dismay, one of the larger upsets of the year in Katrina Allen not finishing first, second, or third. I mean, clearly one of the favorites to go in and win the event. She never finishes out of the top 3 at anything ever. And then at that event, she finishes out of the top 3. So that weekend was very dynamic for all of those reasons. And I again have to say thank you to Sabattis and Innova and the PDGA and the amazing women that I saw play. That was an awesome weekend, and I'm really glad I got to see it. So I agree with you, Dana. It was definitely top 5 worthy in terms of what happened here in 2016. Yeah,
really exciting. I can't wait to get. I need to get back out to Maine and play those courses. It's been a few years since I've been out there, but definitely one of those places that you need to put on your disc golf bucket list. Moving on. We'll call this a tie for second. Ricky Wysocki. His 2016 year included 14 wins, 6 second-place finishes. He won the Disc Golf Pro Tour points. He won the NT Series, over 58,000 in winnings. 2 separate occasions, he won 3 tournaments in a row, while I could barely muster 3 birdies in a row. But the best moment of the year for Rick definitely came during his 5 tournament winning streak. This is separate from his 2-3 tournament winning streaks, but his 5th straight win during this streak was his biggest, and it's one that's eluded him for a long time. It was his world championship. He took down the world championship in Emporia, Kansas, wire to wire. Just an absolutely amazing performance all week from Ricky. Finally got the monkey off his back and won that world title. But he had a heck of a 2016. What do you guys think?
About Ricky in general, I think his 2016 is this arguably the second best year in recent memory, right behind, as we all know, Paul's 2015 season. I think Ricky has now established himself as the number one player in the world, regardless of what the ratings say. I think Ricky is the man to beat. Now we're going to see how Ricky takes 2017 with the big fat X on his back. And I think 2016 showed that it doesn't matter the type of course. It doesn't matter the distance of the putt. You can never, ever count Ricky out. Period.
Well, he's certainly, as you said, monkey off the back. I mean, that's a cliche that's very appropriate. There was talk of the pressures. There was talk of when Paul could put pressure on Ricky, or when Ricky had certain situations, and obviously that started really early. It was about this time last year when the article was released regarding what Paul had said in the New York Times article, or LA Times. Sorry, whatever it was. LA Times. There was, that's when this surfaced. I'm just guessing, and that kind of started the year off with a little bit of seriousness, a little bit of animosity, a little bit of I'd say bite for everybody. Paul had to defend his comments. Ricky had to not only address them in a verbal manner, but hopefully in a physical manner, and he did just that with the year that he had. And I think he came out from underneath the thumbprint that Paul maybe had him in. And I don't know if there was one defining moment of the season that solidified just that, if it was, Ricky being crowned there, or if it was at an event earlier in the year, because Ricky had bested Paul.
I think what really pushed Ricky up and over was the putt in
the Masters Cup.
I mean, I think that right there, that just, it started his season with a fast kick. And I mean, it's not the first event of the season by any means, but that's what really got him rolling. And I think that's really what set him out. And he showed, he's like, I'm not going to fold under pressure this year.
Well, and maybe, and it's tough to even say something like that in the sense that there's no pressure for you to make a 60 or 70 or 80 footer. I mean, if you don't make that, I don't think anyone's folding.
No, not.
I'm just saying. But the fact that he did make it, and then the fact is he got to turn the tables and put it on Paul to make that putt, which was shorter. And then Paul's the one who actually, if you want to say folded, you could say that he did, because most people say Paul from 40, 42, 45 for a push or a win. In a lot of previous years, you count that.
I was going to say
that's money in the bank.
Not this year.
And
not
it
just
didn't
that
happen there.
Not just that event. He had an off putting year, as everyone could say. But this isn't about Paul. This was about Ricky and Ricky's phenomenal kickoff.
I think there was some of that all tied together.
Yeah, they're intertwined.
If there's a word
arguably.
Ricky uses,
it's momentum. We know,
or confidence, either or. And I think when he gets that momentum, it builds his confidence, and that's what helps him carry past. The otherwise relatively evenness that the two are at, and Ricky seemed to carry that throughout the entire year. And I look even to the event later. What was the overseas event at Yarva? Same thing. Didn't Paul have an opportunity to at least push on the final hole, and he missed a relatively short putt inside 30 feet. Again, you count those for Paul Macbeth, and that wasn't the case this year. And Ricky took home the victory just like that. So, yeah, definitely big. And Ricky's season overall was tremendous. And I don't know if you can say, all right, they're 1-1. We've started over and they're 1-1. If you look at the last two seasons, who's going to be, take the tiebreaker in 2017? It still feels like, though, those two appear to be a step above everyone else and step in front of everyone else.
For sure.
And we'll see if that's going to be true in 2017. I'm excited to see that.
If that's if that's tied for number 2,
Oh my gosh.
Dana, stop keeping me in suspense. What else you got for number 2?
Number 2 tied. What else?
All right. So I could not decide between Ricky and this one, but Val Jenkins. This year she won World Championship and was also awarded the Bob West Sportsmanship Award. It's not too often that this happens in the same year. Now, keep in mind, it was voted on for, I guess, the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, Val is awesome, totally deserving of the Bob West Sportsmanship Award year in and year out. And it was a wild and crazy Final 9 in Emporia. You had no idea what was going to happen. Again, I should have mentioned this earlier, but Smashbox was there live, showing the disc golf world what was happening. But when it was all said and done, Val found herself on top, winning her 4th pro women's title, edging out her husband Nate Doss, who has 3. So getting the bump to 4. That, a lot, 4 meant a whole lot to her, I'm sure, but that's probably the biggest. All right, I got 4.
The in-house bragging
3.
rights.
Yep. Well, and it was so funny because Val hung around the whole week, but no one really talked about her winning until about the 3rd hole of that finals, because it seemed like it was a cat and page battle, and then suddenly they battled themselves right out of bounds, and Val just comes strolling through, slow and steady, picking up a stroke here, picking up a stroke there, picking up a stroke, until finally it was suddenly like, she can't be caught. There's no way, if Val plays her game, she's got this. And it was really an amazing thing to see.
Yeah. Awesome performance by Val there. But it doesn't stop there. She was finally rewarded this year by Innova with her own signature disc, the Starfire. I think you could probably buy some from Terry.
You can.
Hit him up via private message. But and then it doesn't even stop there. On top of all that, she also brewed a really, really good beer with Nate Doss and Fiddlehead for the Green Mountain Championships. And Terry, please don't tell me you have any sitting in your closet or in your car frozen right now. Please tell me.
They're not frozen in my car. I might have a few stashed yet, though.
I saw them. I went over to Terry's house. It was last weekend, and I'm fairly certain, unless that was from a year ago.
I have some from then, which are those are the permanent. Those will be the permanent ones that will obviously never be drank. They're a little old now.
Yeah,
from the year before.
Those
are the keepsakes.
But when I walked by your kitchen,
yeah,
I was like, oh my God, there they are, right there. They're sitting there, just sitting there.
Yes.
I'll say this, and Dana, maybe what's the point of keeping them? Like, I can see keeping the can. That makes a lot of sense to me. But just actually keeping the alcohol
it's
in
like
them?
Yeah, it's like anything else. There is to be more value. As funny as this may sound, I somewhat was a beer can collector as a kid. It was something my older brother was into. This is very bizarre, but he was kind of into, and he had all these really interesting beer cans, just like you'd collect baseball cards or anything else. And from then I had learned as well, a full can of beer is obviously worth more than an empty can of beer. Valuable. And being the disc golf collector and hoarder and enthusiast, let's put it this way: if there ever is the I don't know if it would be a Wisconsin disc golf museum, whatever I may create someday. If I ever were to create a museum, seems a little cooler to have a full can of beer there than sitting there than an empty can, doesn't it?
I agree. I agree.
You can visit that can of beer in 20-some years somewhere. I don't know where I'd put a museum, but I think I have enough stuff for one.
Yeah, right. That's gonna be Mackenzie's first beer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for one of the kids to like one day when Dad's gone, sneak into his closet and be like, "Oh, he's hiding the beer here."
Yes.
You know, they'll be like 15, 16, and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know it's coming, Dana. You know it's coming.
Yes.
That'd be pretty funny. You'd have to call Nate and Val. You'll never believe what happened. Came home. drinking my beer. But
it will. We all know it will not be good then. Obviously,
No.
these have a certain shelf life, and all those years later, when they find 2 random 4-packs sitting in the back of a closet or up on a stand in my disc golf office, if they're dumb enough to try them, then they get what they deserve at that point.
Probably.
Yes, so great time. And in fact, I was just speaking with Nate tonight, and we were talking more. We followed up on the conversation from last week about collaborations and the things they want to do, and this very, I'd say, aggressive goal of trying to do 50 collaborations in 50 different states. I think that's great. Most people haven't played disc golf in 50 states, so it's
or
very
been to 50
or
states.
been to. Yeah, correct. I know I haven't. So it's very cool to see. And we wish them the best of luck, and I think we're going to see more of those types of things happen because that's something that they're really focused on. So look for more Nate and Val Bevel beer around the country moving forward for sure. Just
Very
don't look
cool,
at my
very
house
cool.
for it.
Well,
Ooh, I think I know what number 1 is.
Oh, wait. If it's your wife winning a C tier, I'm gonna call a little bias.
yeah, everybody knows it. I'm sure they're calling it on the board. Johnny knows it. Terry, I don't know. You're probably clueless, but
I'm
number
not
1,
smart.
without a doubt, is the Philo Albatross,
What?
also known as
The Philotros?
whatever. But whatever you
wow.
want to call it.
That's
It
not
was
what
a
I
shot.
thought.
All right, Dana, state your case for it. Johnny's going to have a counter argument.
I was surprised.
Let Dana state his case. What you got, Dana?
The shot heard around the world. The boys from Central Coast Disc Golf were at the right place and the right time when they caught Mr. Philo Brathwaite nailing a 2 on the par 5, hole 6 at Milo MacIver State Park during the Beaver State Fling. You've all seen it. If you haven't, I should slap you. But you've all seen it. I'm not sure how many of you can really actually, though, appreciate how hard that shot is. You may have heard, or you may, you've watched the video and say, oh, wow, that's pretty, that looks really hard. It's an absolutely incredible shot. So hard, going uphill, back downhill, getting the perfect S shot. Such a hard hole. I've played that course at Worlds. I played the Beaver State Fling so many times, and if I get a 4 on that hole, I'm so happy, so happy. And if I can even take a sniff at a 3, I'm so happy. And I've been in that exact same spot that Philo threw from, and for him to throw that perfect shot was just absolutely amazing. And it's awesome that he's being rewarded. He's been rewarded for it. Central Coast caught it. They had 2 cameras. Catch camera caught it coming in nicely. They put together a nice edited video of it. And from there, I want to dive into the numbers just a little bit. I chatted with Ian Anderson from Central Coast, and I wanted to get an idea of the actual impact this video has had numbers-wise.
You mean he still took your call? Little old Dana? I mean, Ian and those guys are big deal now. That's good that he still took your call.
Yeah, I mean, I had to, I had to talk to his secretary and
Okay,
jump
good.
through a few hoops. But
Good, that means he's doing it right.
But I got with him. Hey, I can hear you guys now. This is
Awesome.
I can see you too.
Yeah.
But
Turn that part off.
all right. So the Central Coast Disc Golf YouTube channel, the shot has over 1 million views. 1 million views. Terry, how many views does your YouTube channel have? You think?
4.23 million.
4.23 million total over hundreds of videos.
Yep.
Correct. And my largest one with about 200,000. So.
Okay, so to put that in perspective, Terry's highest count is 200,000. This video on YouTube has over 1 million. And then the ESPN clip that Central Coast loaded on Facebook is just about at 1 million. I think it was over 900,000. Then on all the different Facebook pages that shared it, it's over 15 million.
Wow.
So we're over 16, 17 million, and now it keeps going. Consider all the views from television. The shot was played on Tosh.0, the Science Channel, ESPN Top 10.
I guarantee you there was at least it was seen at least 50 million times.
Yeah.
I'd easily go out on a limb and say that.
Yeah, absolute, all around, absolutely incredible. Huge exposure for disc golf. I'm sure every disc golfer or serious disc golfer in their life got messages, calls, texts, whatever from non-disc golfers saying, "Oh, I saw this, blah blah blah, da 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 da," and referencing the Philo shot, and it's been awesome to talk about with those people, and then, who knows, it's just incredible. Clearly the number one moment, the number one shot of the year. No disrespect to anyone else, but it's I don't think it's debatable. It's hard to believe that one single throw like that could have such an impact, and really we might, to say, I use the word impact. We don't know what kind of impact. It's been seen so many times, and presumably it's had a great impact on the sport. So kudos to the Jeffs, the rest of the Beaver State Fling crew for running an amazing event year in and year out. Central Coast catching that, and then obviously Philo, little old Philo. He made some big steps early in the year. He won at Vegas, picked up a lot of fans, played really well throughout the year, and then just really shot himself into stardom with that shot.
Yeah, he really did. And talking about it like that, you nailed it. That is definitely the number one moment in disc golf this year, hands down.
Earlier, you were ready to start a fight.
No, I just said
you were going to have a Trump Clinton debate here on stage.
No, I honestly hadn't even thought of that. That was not even on my. I thought for sure you were going to say the 3-round USDGC with Jeremy Colling. I didn't even think of the Philo one and the impact that it had. My thought was, the big. In my head, I'm thinking, what were the biggest stories in disc golf this year? I didn't even think about disc golf outside of disc golf, which is what that shot was. I was kind of thinking like, oh my God, the controversy between the 3 rounds and Colling winning, and those other guys, raring to make a comeback and not able to do that. The weather, all that adding up.
Yeah, that was
in my head. That
was definitely on my radar of top 5 moments, but since you guys are paying me to be on here, I wanted to make sure I talked about Smashbox TV, and so
you went with Ian Central Coast. Yeah,
yeah,
right along those lines. You got it. You nailed it.
No, but I mean, I'd say it's hard to not call it the best.
Of course,
moment,
hands down.
I said it.
No disrespect to Germ. Awesome for him. He's the first Am World winner to go on and win a major in the pro division, the men's open pro division. So he finally broke that streak, and pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I said it back then, and I'll say it again, and I say it to a lot of people anytime the Philo shot comes up. I think Philo's throw and shot was amazing. And the odds and the calculations, and I think Sports Science or someone recently broke it down, which I didn't get a chance to watch yet. But I think those are all great. The kudos for me goes even further to the Central Coast crew for, again, putting a camera in the location that they did. Because I'll admit to this day,
because 90% of the players don't make it there.
They don't make it there, and so setting the camera there. I don't want to say seems worthless. Clearly it wasn't. But if you said, all right, Terry, you and the best cameraman in disc golf are going to go film that hole, go out there and film it for 1,000 groups, I still probably wouldn't put a camera where they did. Because to make that bend, to then have it bend back, and then have it, as you saw, come literally out of frame from out of nowhere, to then come in and crash in the way it did, I think the shot's amazing. I think the fact that they put a camera there is double as amazing.
Yeah.
So it's you said it, right place, right time. And it was, I mean, it's obviously any hole in one from 400 plus feet blind is a little bit of luck to begin with. But all of those things, it just really add up for, the craziness that is that entire phenomenon, sure. All of that. So pretty amazing for sure. But I still wouldn't set up back there to think that I'm going to get a shot that's going to come in.
Well, I
and go to the
guarantee you,
basket.
they'll be there every year in that spot, waiting for another shot.
And I'm not certain. Were there 2 or 3 cameras ultimately on the hole? Is there a clarification on that?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It kind of does, because if you have one on the throw and then one on
one at the turn and one by the basket.
Exactly. Then that's a different situation. Then that makes perfect sense.
I would guess there was only 2, but that's just
I don't know.
Because they're usually maxing out. They're pretty stretched for the Beaver State, because they try to get bunch of cards going. So I have a hard time believing, and it wasn't even the lead card. I'd have a hard time believing they had 3 cameras. But as you guys know, I've been wrong a few times.
Yeah, just once. So yeah, and again, I'll say it was funny because I was 2 or 3 groups ahead, following Macbeth's card. So if that what hole is that? Is that 8, 6? Whatever it is, 5.
It's hole 6 that he
6.
eagled.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I was out near somewhere. Maybe it was 9 or 10 or something like that. And we heard the eruption, and then it was seconds later. Macbeth was checking the online scoring, and he's like, "Damn, Philo got a 2," or said something like that. It's like, I thought my 3 was good. He's like, "No," and we're all like, "No way." And then put 2 and 2 together with that eruption. It was pretty amazing. So very cool stuff.
And I since we're talking about that hole, I honestly call it a really hard. I don't know. I have a hard. It's such a tweener par 4, par 5.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Terry? You call it a true par 5, or no? Let's not even get into it.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at the beautiful thing that it was. I shouldn't even say anything, but let's move on. It's a great but it doesn't take anything away from the shot.
Oh God, no! I guarantee you, it's a par 5 for me.
Yeah.
So Dana, 2017. Do you have any announcements you're making? The past couple of years, you have you've
realigned.
You've dipped your toe into a couple different companies, and we're moving into 2017 now. Do you have anything you would like to talk about or say or thank or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I'm excited to announce that I'll have the same bag next year.
Which is?
The same discs in my bag.
Oh.
All right.
I'll be with Discmania again. They're having me back. I'm grateful for that. It would have been a really I didn't have a really great year, so there weren't a whole lot of suitors knocking on my door. But 2, I'm really happy with Discmania. I honestly like the discs. They're making really good discs, and it feels really good to not have that hovering over me, having to learn a whole new set of discs and find my new favorite disc and all that. I've got all my favorite discs. I know exactly what my bag looks like outside of whatever new molds come out in the next year with Discmania. But I'm really happy where I'm at, and I'm very grateful that they're having me back. So I will be with Discmania, and of course, actually I haven't talked to Miles. I'm gonna have to talk to him. But no, Paragon still be repping Paragon. Miles, he's the man. If anybody needs any custom gear, definitely hit him up. But no, I'll be throwing the Swirly S-Line MD all over next year, and the DDX. CD2.
Well, it seemed to work for you this past year. So you had one of your better seasons. And
I mean,
you had your highlights. You had some.
You had that one chain out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're saying. You had one chain out, and it was amazing.
It was, and honestly, like, if you guys aren't throwing the PD out there, or if you haven't tried the PD, you should check it out. It's like it goes far, but it's not a distance driver. It's one of those in between fairway and distance driver, smaller rim. That's what I threw and almost got an ace with that one time.
Memories.
Oh yeah, still too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, still.
If you would have just made that ace and then squashed Macbeth, I mean, would that have?
I don't know. Me and I think that was the start of me and Macbeth's beef. We got beef
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And that going back to the video we just talked about, you doing your commentary 2 minutes in, and you were quote unquote throwing shade at Macbeth.
And I saw some was it 3 days ago? I saw some Twitter beef going back and forth between
That's
you.
all.
Yeah, you commented, you posted something at him, and
DG Mike finally, me and him did commentary on Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Cup final round with Shasta Chris, Paul Oman, Dustin Honold, and myself. So I tweeted at Paul, told him that, hey, this video's live, check it. He basically said he didn't want anything to do with it. And then, so
that's what happens when you talk trash. Yeah,
that's right.
There's you guys. Everyone thinks it's the big Ricky versus Paul, but it's really me versus Paul. That's
I mean, if anybody this year, you were the one to shake him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. And all Paul's thinking is, man, I finally got that Dana off my back, that Dana monkey off my back. That's what Paul was thinking. No, maybe not. Yeah. So here we are in the off season. We're going to continue to talk to a number of players in the next few weeks. Things have obviously slowed down. We're seeing results are slowing down from tournaments that are coming in, things of that nature. What's the off season like for you? Someone who's recently became a family man, with the little one and all that stuff. What's the off season like for you?
For me, it's wow. I guess it is the off season already. Life is just honestly so busy, and I've said this before. I thought I was busy, and then I had a baby, and it's just life revolves around her, and I'm fine with that. But
it doesn't get better.
What I need to do
me.
is make some time to work on myself and work on my game more than I am doing at the moment. Right now, I'm not doing a whole lot. Still doing some yoga and going to yoga classes, but I need to either A, at night do something, or B, start getting up at 5 a.m, because otherwise all of my time goes to Edith and then work, working at school 3 days a week right now, and also working with Disc Golf Park. That's every day. A lot of hustling there, trying to design courses and sell courses. So if anyone needs one, but no, hopefully I'll start getting back into action here before the new year. But my basement is going to be one of my big friends. I've got a blanket down there. I've got a couple baskets, some turf to put down on the ground. But before I do all that, I need to move a bunch of boxes around, a bunch of junk, discs, storage stuff, and get my space where I can actually throw. And
well, you use those boxes as things to work around. Build yourself a little tree, a tunnel, or some straddle things, or you can work on that.
Yeah, but no, my off season is going to be a lot of time in my basement, and then also, like I said, I need to find that time to get to the gym or CrossFit or just work out at home, whatever it might be. But for the most part, I'm going to find myself in my basement in the free time, working on my putt, building that routine. This year was another struggle around the basket for me, so that's going to be one of my main goals. And then also cleaning up my form. Every now and then I get a little robotic and mechanical and it's not all that smooth, and just need to get back to being smooth. And I know I can throw the disc and throw it really well. It's just need to put it in the basket. So yeah.
All right.
Put the biscuit in the basket, I think somebody once said.
Yup, something creepy like that.
I don't know if I'd go there. You gonna come up and play my C tier in a couple weeks?
Is it another $80 C tier?
Oh, shut your trap. No, it's oh, do you mean $80 plus player pack value maybe?
Ooh.
No.
Tell me about the C tier. What do you got? Let's plug it up.
Super short and easy course. I've only gotten one round in there, but it's a lot of fun in Kenosha, Wisconsin, just over the border, December 31st. First PDJ sanctioned event taking place there. Every hole is birdieable, buddy. Oh, there's one longer hole, I think. Yeah, but everything's birdieable, so it should be great for the ratings. And did you see was that post or pre this podcast last week where I put out the question about which tee we were going to play from in terms of throwing over the water hole? Was that?
I think that was right after the podcast.
Yeah. So Dana, you're a course designer. That's a great question for you. This hole is 320 feet in length total, but it's about 260. Well, somebody's argued it's 210 to the closest spot. Maybe it is. But essentially, if you're going over the meat of the water, you're looking at 240 to 260 to clear the water, and there's no other place to lay up. You're essentially throwing right from the almost water's edge over to the other side of this river or lagoon. And so if you wanted to bail out, there's no such thing. How do you feel like that should be handled at an event? Should I create a shorter drop zone and make people go right to it? Or should I allow everyone to throw from that spot, but say if you want to go right to the drop zone, you can, but you're throwing for 3 from there?
What would Nate Heinold do? No, just kidding.
I don't know. You're his assistant TD. So
yeah. Yeah, that's you've got a pretty interesting question. I think that you should go ahead and try you can go to the drop zone and throw 3, or you can take your chances.
okay.
Or what's wrong with creating another tee pad and just saying everybody but open play here?
Well, that would
Yeah,
essentially be the drop zone.
Yeah.
That's the only other place you could
and
put
then
it.
as they open, you make the drop zone the other tee pad because
Yeah, that's another
Because
really
everyone's
strong
complaining.
option.
The complaint is, I want to play that hole. It's a signature hole. I want to play from that tee. And then the argument that really went about on the Facebook page was tremendous because there were people saying, suck it up, play from that tee. That's the only way to get better. I don't know how throwing your disc
in the water is making you any better.
Make you better. But and then the argument really became which divisions. Some people felt like pros and advanced. Some people felt like intermediate and up, rec and up.
Yeah.
Like rec should should be throwing from
I
there.
think part of it is if you're gonna have some divisions play the long tee or the regular tee and then make a short tee, is you need to make sure that you consider the ratings. So
Correct.
what I do with my Pontiac event is hole 18 in Pontiac, Illinois has 2 tee pads. One that has a 200 probably about the same 210 foot water carry, maybe a little bit more, or the short tee that doesn't have a water carry. So I have pro and advanced, and then maybe advanced masters play from the long tee, and then intermediate, rec, all the other divisions play from the short tee. It's a good par 3 from the short tee. It's not like a 100-foot hole, and then, but also I'm not, forcing people to, throw their disc over the water.
Well, will the water be frozen?
It may or may not be, but I'll be the first to say even if it is.
It doesn't matter. You should never go on there.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, I'm not encouraging anyone to go out there. You are waiving all liabilities.
Just saying.
That was someone's rebuttal, too, as well. They could throw in and the water should be frozen and then it could skip off and then...
No, you would never want anyone to go out in the water for fear of something happening and falling in.
I'm sure some people will go out there, but it will be under no suggestion of mine
correct
to do so. So it will, and yeah, it could be frozen, but there could also be a fresh foot of snow on it. meaning you're not going to get a skip off of
Yeah.
it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It was definitely interesting to read all the responses that came in, and the mentality of suck it up, you're playing in a tournament. I think was probably the funniest mentality.
I kind of
well, you're
like...
playing in a tournament, so you should be good enough to clear that. Well,
No, that's not
there's
true.
people that have been playing for 25 years
that can't clear it.
that can't clear it for whatever physical or other reasons.
I do like the idea of having the long tee and then saying, if you don't want to throw your disc into the water, you can just play from the drop zone for 3.
Okay.
Just be done with it and just be like, all right, that's...
I think at the end of the day, the fairest and best option is to have X divisions play from the drop zone / short tee, and then whatever divisions play from the long tee.
Sure.
And just, if that's a deal breaker for them to want to throw over the water, and then go ahead and move up and play in the advanced division or whatever division plays. Just because,
especially if it's such a short course where everything's birdieable, there's no reason why an advanced player that can throw that, or an AM player that can throw that far or intermediate, maybe couldn't move up to advanced that particular weekend.
Yeah, and you don't know what if you have. I'm sure this was talked about in your thread. I didn't get into it, but what if the wind is blowing 25 miles an hour headwind, and it's all of a sudden it's like
Even pros are having a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, your best bet is, in my opinion, would be to do the split divisions playing, or if you don't do that, take a start from the drop zone and throw in 3.
Isn't it funny? And we'll move on from it. But the final comment is, it's funny that one of the biggest complaints since even announcing the event is, I better get to play that tee from the long tee or the only tee. I better get to play it so I have the chance to lose my disc. Like, if you really think about it, the argument is, that's not fair. I'm not playing unless you let me go throw from a spot where I could very well lose my plastic.
Yeah.
If you really just kind of rephrase it. So, all right. Well, if you're going to sign up, we'd love to have you, buddy. Check out iregisteredonline.com. We'll let you throw the new course in Kenosha. Lincoln Park is the name of it. And I said something about the band playing last week. I hope nobody took me seriously. It is December 31st.
It's just the lead singer. He's not going to. Not the whole band's not going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. But Lincoln Park in Kenosha, Wisconsin, all cement tee pads, and a fun short little course. So that's the plan.
All right, giddy up.
All right, giddy up. Last chance for points, and points matter. We're seeing that this year the PDGA upped the amount of points that are needed to get into AM Worlds. The Worlds are taking place again in the Midwest this year. With 2014 being in Minnesota, 2015 going to Michigan, 2016 here in Wisconsin, and 2017 taking place in the Quad Cities. If you lived where I live, you would probably be in the best specific location just about for the last 4 years of AM Worlds. And people could complain or question, say, well, why isn't it in this coast or on that side or wherever? It always comes down to who puts in a bid, so it starts there. You need to have a good, solid club and organization that wants to take on the monumental task of hosting an AM Worlds, and then you have to be prepared and ready for it and bid out a couple years out. And the last 3 or 4 years, the Midwest, and they do take things into consideration. We have a ton of players around here. If you look at the player base all around the country, one of the hottest centralized locations for all of disc golf, thanks to some numbers Chuck Kennedy's and the PDGA has hosted, one of the biggest hotbeds is right in the Midwest, right where you live and I live, Dana and Johnny, right here. There's pockets all around the country, and everyone can talk about how great their area is, and there's a lot of them. But one of the greatest hotbeds for courses in the entire U.S., the hottest spot for courses, is right in that Quad Cities, Illinois, Wisconsin border area. So really no surprise we're going to have AM Worlds here again.
Yep. Awesome. It's going to be great. The courses in the Quad Cities are fun. And Chase and the Iron Lion crew, if it's anything like the Rumble, they put on an awesome event. So if you've got the points and the vacation time, I say do it. So
we're going to switch gears a little bit. There's some talk on the board. I don't know how many. I mean, I know you're used to this. This is just, second nature for you. but how many people are just throwing Dana Vicich cards in the mail and getting them sent off to you, or showing up at your house asking for you to sign their Disc Golf Pro Tour Dana Vicich cards? And I didn't see your champion card in there. Did they miss that in this run?
The Ace Spit.
Oh, the Ace Spit card. Yes.
The Ace, that would be, yeah, no. You're kind of a jerk sometimes. But,
Sometimes.
I'd say a
I don't
majority
think
of the
you're
time.
giving me enough credit.
Yeah, majority of the time.
But yeah.
in here I make a couple snide comments in this YouTube video, and I'm the worst person in the world.
You got to build up that disc golf cred, bro. That's what you need.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got a card. You have a card, and we don't,
though.
though. So let's start there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a card, and I haven't sold any. I've only given one away to a good friend who.
You didn't give any to your parents?
My dad's in Mexico. He actually flies home tomorrow for a week, but
unless I'm ruining Christmas gifts, I mean, hey.
so I might give one to him, and send one to sponsors, and put one away for myself. I think I'm going to do a giveaway on my Facebook page, and that might leave me with one or two to sell or to give away to friends, or to trade. To trade Shasta Chris for one of his, or trade Paul Oman, or AJ Risley. Or wait, oh shit. No, AJ's got one.
AJ's got a card.
AJ has one. Yep.
I want one of the AJs. So I mean, I got I didn't buy any packs, so I've got to do some wheeling and dealing to get some of my friends.
Yeah, you definitely do. I've got a couple of you. I was telling, I've got a couple AJs. I've got a couple Jordan Castros. I've got a couple Dutches. All smashies. We're gonna. Yeah. I don't even really think that we need to have guests on the podcast anymore. We're just gonna have the picture,
bring up their card,
and then you and I will talk for them. It'll be perfect.
I invested in a good number of cards. I was a big card collector as a kid, so I invested in a good number of cards, and I've got a few Danamites. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, yeah. And in fact, somebody was giving some review of cards. I don't know if it was. Maybe on the Disc Golf Pro Tour card group that I started on Facebook somewhere, someone was talking about the cards, and the comment was made that they think your card is their favorite non-action shot.
Yeah.
And I saw that. I thought that was a pretty solid compliment, and maybe even a bigger compliment to some of the photographers out there. I think Dan Nye was one of the gentlemen out there. Lauren Lakeberg, of course, was one of the photographers. I'm sorry, I don't know all the other photographers that help make up the cards, but Rebecca Heim, I believe, was one of them. And then probably, sorry, the name escapes me out on the East Coast. But yeah, so awesome cards. There's a lot of chatter going on about them because of some of the exclusivity. There's only so many venue cards and so many champion cards.
If you have some champion cards and you want to sell them to me right here, I'll pay cash. I'm not going to try to trade you anything.
I'll pay in hugs.
Yeah.
And Smashbox plugs.
I'll just pay in cash. Reach out to me. Let me know what you got. I'm trying to make one complete set. I have a few champion cards and a few venue cards. So this guy pays cash.
Have you seen any of the hubbub about the cards? People reaching out about them and such?
Yeah, no, I've seen it. And I think a lot of it has to do with people like you. I know Don Smith bought a bunch. I saw a few other names bought a lot of packs, and they're sold out. So immediately, that's creating some. Hey, what's going on with these cards? I can't get my hands on them, and then all the everybody that has a card was sent cards from Steve and Miles. So of course I posted my card because for me it was a really cool moment to get my own disc golf card in the mail. So there's a lot of hype around them, and Steve Dodge, this worked out pretty. I'd say this worked out pretty well for him, and I'm a little bummed I didn't get to buy any packs and open them up and see if I could get any cool cards, but I did purchase a set.
Yep.
I got Mike Harrington had some sets he was selling, and I picked one up early on when he posted them for sale, and I'm just gonna stash that away. I might rip up a few cards,
Yeah.
and then stash it away. But
I've got 2 sets. I have a sealed set that I purchased from Terry,
You're welcome.
and then I also went to the Harrington route and I bought a hand assembled set, and I have some plans for the hand assembled set. So
Ooh, he's got plans, folks.
plans.
And as I was about to post on so there's a Disc Golf Pro Tour buy, sell, and trade type Facebook page. I've created that. People are more than welcome to join. Just simply go out there and click on the join button. We want to get a ton of people in there talking about them, trading them, doing whatever. I also will be announcing that I'll have a hand collated set as well for sale. I've put a few of them out on some of the Facebook groups. It's interesting because everyone seems to be a little bit scared of, so to speak, setting the prices because nobody really knows. You said that the supply is now low or depleted, the demand is up, and everyone's treating these like collectibles, as I feel like they should be. I've got quite a few numbers of unopened packs. I've got the sealed decks, and then I've got the hand collated packs that I'll be willing to let go of to people. But you got to figure when it was all said and done, people are buying these. When you're buying a pack, you're essentially buying about one. When you're buying a pack, they're at least $1 a card when they all shake out. And so to kind of figure out where the value is, and somebody wants to buy just their favorite player, but that may screw up an entire potential for a set. It makes things a little bit dicey. So we'll see. I again, as a card collector, I'm excited to see how this all unfolds and what's going to come of it, and we'll see how many more Steve Dodge attempts to make in the following season, and if it's going to be the same format. You know, the people that made it, in that top 50 or 49 for the men and the top 12 for the women. I thought that was a really interesting cutoff point that I like. And we'll see if he sticks to that next year. And then he had the 4 champion cards and the venue cards. So definitely is exciting to see. And kudos, congrats to Steve Dodge for a very good idea out there.
And think about looking at it from another way, the impact that it has, like all these players that got the cards posted and sharing with their families, and that spreads out through outside of the disc golf community, and it's just another thing that kind of helps elevate the whole disc golf status to non-disc golfers, at least in my opinion. Now, when you say, hey, I got my own disc golf card, or you tell, not that I'm running around telling everybody,
I would
kind of see, oh, Johnny's got some cards.
Yeah, I went and I got the I wanted everyone to see the Danamite card. Let's see if I can get it up nice and close.
When I posted that card on my Facebook page, I think Big Germ had the best comment. He said, "What you can't see is Dana's walking up to shake my hand."
Yeah, it looks funny because you're obviously holding up. We've got Smashy Jordan Castro's card.
Jordan, who's out on the board.
And I believe...
Nice looking card.
I'm scrolling through some Macbeth, some Paige Pierce, a couple venue cards.
Venue card, yep.
Madison Walker,
who's quite excited about her card. She was just talking about the other day. Our good pal, Batman.
One of our other Smashies, Dutch.
I think our most dedicated Smashie, maybe even more than the three of us.
The only one with a tattoo.
He's got a tattoo. So definitely deserves a little love there. Our pal Zoe.
One of our other commentators we have, Zoe Andyke. And
Eagle McMahon, who we know chimes in
I
on
don't
the board
have
every once in a while.
I know I have the AJ Risley card. It's just not in this little stack here. Sorry, AJ. And I used going to get the cards as really an excuse to go refill my drink.
Oh, jeez.
Sneaky me.
You crazy. So, so where can you buy some of the cards? If somebody wants to reach out to me, I know you can also find them on Facebook. So if you want to get an entire set, that's another conversation. But you could reach out to me on Facebook. I believe most, if not all, retailers. I don't know of any retailers. I would send you in their direction. I don't believe I know any retailers that still have them available for sale as regular retailers. They became a hot item, and I know a lot of people are trying to hunt down those champion cards along with those venue cards. So,
yeah, find me on Facebook.
Yeah,
I've actually seen some of the older cards that have been produced. The Avery Jenkins, the Paul Macbeth,
correct,
popping up on like the auction pages, and they've seemed to gained a little bit of value since these cards have come out. People are kind of in the disc golf card hype right now, and it's kind of cool.
Well, and we could say this six ways to Sunday. Is that the phrase? 7 ways to Sunday? I don't know. You can say it a lot. I told Steve Dodge, I said, I had that exact same idea many years ago. I looked into it. I probably had a conversation with Johnny about rights and who would do what and how it would work and who would take the photos. I remember talking to Jenny Cook. I remember talking to Lauren Lakeberg, talking about getting photos of these players and who would have them. And I did the research to look into cards. And I know I have some old emails from when I reached out and got quotes on it. And it's like so many other things. Your idea is only as good as how quickly you move on it. And it was a great idea by Steve Dodge. I don't know if this will spur others to have any kind of cards, if they'll carry any more or less weight. There's things they're going to have to consider if they want to do it. Because Dana, I think tomorrow you said, well, I want to create the Danamite series cards and then go out and have pictures of all these other people. You couldn't just use their likeness under your own pretenses without any kind of agreement or disclaimer in place or anything like that, which the Pro Tour had. So there's some barriers to doing so, but it would be interesting to see if we see anything of this nature kind of pop up or move forward. But again, congrats, Steve Dodge. Solid idea. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of people talking and trading, and I think there's just a nostalgia there. Johnny, as he said, used to collect cards. We know Mike collected cards. A lot of us at some point or another collected some kind of cards, albeit baseball or other sports, and just that whole notion of, oh, I've got this one, but I really want that one, or I really need that one.
I've got speaking of cards, I might have told you this. I was digging through like those old plastic cases that used to open, swing out the top. You had stacks of cards in. I found one, and I was like, what's in here? It's a bunch of garbage. Derek Jeter rookie card. I was like, I bet you that's worth some money. I threw it in like a sleeve of some sort.
And then did you Google it? Because now I want to Google it.
No, I did not. I didn't really care. I just threw it in a sleeve thinking like, oh, that could be valuable. So
I'd trade you a Dana Vicich card for it.
But unfortunately, it's not a Dana Vicich rookie card.
Oh.
So, is this a Dana Vicich, what were the traded series?
Afterwards. Rated rookie.
The rated rookies.
Cards.
Yep.
Well, we shall see. So Dana, I know I think I talked about it a little bit on the top of the hour. Did we discuss what we're going to see for the Raz round? Do you remember any of that took place after the tournament was complete on that Saturday in Nantucket?
At that point in Nantucket, I needed a little bit of time to myself. No talking. I'd been talking for 2 days straight on the mic. A day and a half straight. It was a really long day, 2 rounds of 18, commentating, mostly solo. I hadn't played the course, so during the Raz round, went and played like 9 holes.
Oh, wow.
12, I can't remember what it was, but I actually skipped the Raz round. I'm kind of bummed because I would have loved to have been getting that germ and messing with them, because that's one of the things that brings me joy in life is messing with Big Germ. And I would have loved to have been there for the Raz round, and but no, I wasn't. So I'm waiting to see it too. I heard it. I could definitely hear it from all over the course, and I caught you guys coming on the last hole coming down, and it just looked like a ton of fun. But like I said, I needed a little time to decompress and to actually throw a few discs rather than talk about discs being thrown.
Well, I'm just going to say, and I don't want to totally oversell it, but this is, if you don't enjoy watching this video and you don't laugh out loud a number of times, I don't think you know how to enjoy disc golf.
I don't know, Terry. You've seen the comments. People don't necessarily get it.
They don't get it all, but and I'm not going to give it all away, but it's only 3 holes. And just to give you some idea, it's only 3 holes, but I want to say it's still like a 25 or 28 minute video. I leave as much. I wish I would have recorded even more and left more in. Typically, I'll put it this way. Typically, for 4 pro players to tee off, it's almost down to the second. It comes to about 1 minute and 45 seconds, give or take a half a second. It's just the magic number. These tee-offs take anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes on each of the tee-offs. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of jabbing. There's razzing, hence the name of it. I think it's hilarious, and I'm super glad there's no commentary by myself or by Dana. Absolutely none was needed. It's single camera action. I was out there filming it, and we got a little bit of the extras and plenty of the razzing. John Hauk was kind of emceeing / directing it, doing a little bit of the commentary indirectly on his own portable jukebox or speaker box that he had. And I hope everyone enjoys it. I don't know how many views it's going to get, but I think if you enjoy anything about disc golf or seeing some of our top players have a really good time, you should absolutely thoroughly enjoy this video. So look for that, I think, tomorrow. I've got it all assembled. I'm waiting on a good buddy to wrap up something to have a little bit of a spicier intro, and it should be ready to go tomorrow. So look for that on the Disc Golf Guys channel for that. You're gonna enjoy it. You definitely will enjoy it, Dana. I guarantee you that. Oh, and Jordan's on our board saying he got worked. Jordan, spoiler alert, Jordan Castro was part of the Raz round, and I think he had a pretty fun time with it. I know he didn't play quite as well as he wanted to, but he throws some great shots, and yeah, you'll have to just tune in to take a look at it. It's pretty good.
Forget the Raz round. I want to see the Germ bike riding video.
Yes, and
Just put that in the corner.
As many of you know, those were some of Germ's struggles out on Nantucket. Was just when the primary mode of transportation was a bicycle, and to say Germ's biking skills were lackluster, I think would be fair enough to say for him. So,
Germ, cute kid.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Dana, do you have anything else? Well, let me ask you this. You've been on a hiatus, and you haven't been actively participating, but some of these nights you've tuned in. You've watched from the board, you maybe chimed in, you caught bits and pieces. We know you didn't sit down for any entire podcast, but you tuned in. What did you see? Not you see Maresma, but what did you see?
Oh, man. Honestly, you're giving me more credit than is due. I, for the most part, unplugged from Smashbox. I might have just hopped in to make a comment here or there, or maybe I can't quite think. It's been a while since I've been on, and
yep.
At the beginning I might have, kind of snuck in for a little bit, but honestly, for the most part, it's been a pretty Smashbox free household.
I don't know. We've checked your IP address. That must be your wife that's logged in then.
That's probably yeah. It's one of her secret.
Smashy forever. No.
But no. Yeah, I honestly, I went back and caught a few interviews that I wanted to catch afterwards. But for the most, we go to bed pretty early here. Edith keeps us really busy when we're awake. She gets up early, and so bedtime comes pretty early in the Vicich house.
Okay.
I wish.
Next couple of weeks, what are we looking at for dates? We've got the 20th. That seems still like a reasonable date for all of us. Is that right?
Yeah, the 20th should be fine. I think we'll probably skip the 27th.
I don't know why, but okay.
I think most of us will be out of Milwaukee, namely me.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm not sure if you're good with those fractions, but
well, Dana won't be in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
so
true. So brilliant.
So how about you work on your math, Terry Miller? Yeah, so I could see us skipping out on the 27th, but we'll be kicking it back on what the 3rd or the 4th,
something like that.
Whatever that would be. We'll be here.
The 3rd. Dana, do you have anything else we need to talk about with you, buddy?
No, I'm not switching sponsors. I'm happily sponsored by Discmania again. So
how about Gillette? Are you sponsored by Gillette? That beard is starting to
the best a man can get.
Yeah, that's full.
That's full.
That
is,
is
like that.
That's a solid.
Yeah,
that's a 1030 rated beard, hands down.
That's like the nicest thing anybody said to me in days. Thank you, Johnny.
You're welcome.
But no, I don't think I got too much. I just wanted to give a quick shout out, local Adam Berkvik. It's his birthday. Happy birthday to Adam. Chatted with Jared Smashy earlier today. What's up, Jared? And just want to say it feels good to talk some disc golf with you guys and be back on here. And my blood pressure didn't rise once, so
that means you're not doing it
I don't
right.
think- I don't.
That means you're doing something wrong, buddy.
I don't think I insulted anybody other than maybe Germ, and even that was pretty mild. If I did, I don't even know if I did. I could, but maybe I'll see you guys next week before the holidays. That sounds like fun. If I can make it, I will. And thank you. I appreciate you guys handing me the mic every now and then.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We love seeing your face again, and looking forward to having more regular and weekly insights from the Danamite. Thanks for doing the research and looking up your stats and giving us your top your top moments of the year. I think if we did any preparation or research, maybe we should come up with something of our own. Maybe not top moments since we discussed those at large, but maybe some other things that we could work on for next week.
We could do the
the top ace spit outs of the year.
Yeah, or the worst 5 moments of the year. I worked on that list, but that list would
not maybe not the worst, maybe more the heartbreaking.
Okay.
I mean,
that's would be a heartbreaker.
As long as you don't put them on a card, Terry's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I got stats for you.
No.
Point.
No. No.
Circle 2 putting.
Cheers.
Point 175. Circle 1 putting. 80. Not bad. 85.9%. Fairway percentage 63.1%. Birdie percentage 32.3%. Couple zeros under the wins and top 10s. 1 top 25.
The finals. I got top 10 in the finals.
I'm not sure that counts on the card.
That doesn't count.
It's not on the card, bro.
It only says 4 events. Tour points 48, which was 41st. Tour championship 17th. Danamite Vicich.
7th place. That's a 7.
Oh. Tied for 7th. You're right. It does say T7.
Damn.
I didn't look close enough. I just thought it said 17th. It's tied for 7th. You're right.
Johnny, that's a 7.
That is I didn't get the 7 part wrong. It was the T versus the 1. So
speaking of the T on 17th hole, when you didn't go in.
All right, we're done. Dana, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming back. We will see you again in the weeks to come, hopefully next week. Goodbye, sir.
And as Danamite exited out with a couple birthday shout-outs, we got happy birthday, our PDGA board president, Rebecca Duffy. I think, again, celebrating her 25th birthday for the second time. So happy birthday, Rebecca Duffy, PDGA board president. One major conversation we didn't have with Dana, that's all right. I know him and I had some offline, was talking about PDGA board president, or not board president, PDGA executive director replacements. In fact, Dana sent me a name this morning, and he said, could so-and-so be it? I said, nah, too divisive. I think they stir up too much trouble. So, and it wasn't me.
And you're not going to share the name now?
No, I can't. I don't think I can.
Wow.
Because it's probably best off. But the point is, like we discussed last week, everybody's got their person or people in mind. I'm interested to see how that continues to unfold, and if it will or won't be, we'll say someone that's obvious, someone that everyone's like, oh, I know I threw out Sean Sinclair and you guys whatever last week, but if it's going to be a name that's a household name that everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, or no, that doesn't, or if it's going to be someone that is very obviously qualified, that maybe kind of emerges or rises, that fits the bill, that just isn't a name that we're used to hearing or a household name. That's what I'm going to be interested to see. So no, call it a poor lead, but no, I'm not going to discuss who it was. Drew Gibson is out. He must be on the internets. I think he's seeing He has some naughty words for me, and then says that apparently he thinks my sponsorship announcement was clickbait, and then he calls me another naughty word. I don't know. It served the purpose of thanking all the people that have been so supportive of everything that we're doing, both for Smashbox as well as for
I agree.
the Disc Golf Guy videos. So,
Right.
Again, thanks to Dana. Thanks for joining us. Dana, yeah. How about Dana in that position? He never said no to that.
No.
He's got too much playing ahead of him.
He's got too much playing, and he's got a little bit of history, a little bit of divisive history. Not anyone that's still around, thankfully. So the other big news, we have big news this week.
We do?
And I'll say big news as in it's the only news that really that's going on this week. You may have seen one or two things in your social media feed about some company, lots of yellow, named Innova. They announced their team this year, and for 2017, there are a couple moves, we'll say, up and down their different ranks of team. The star team gained Jennifer Allen,
Okay.
Philo, and I believe those are the only two that actually jumped up to the star team this year. So this year's star team consists of Jen Allen, Philo, Brinster, Val, Hannah Leatherman, Paul Macbeth, Des, and Nate Sexton. So congratulations on those guys. But you did see a lot of other people post that they were continuing to be sponsored. They've got a couple different levels. They've got the team champion, a Masters, a Hall of Fame, international, a crew team, and a sponsored team. And I kind of scrolled through these earlier tonight, and I'll say this. The only surprise to me, looking at all these people, is Dustin Keegan.
For being listed on the
He's
crew
listed
team.
on the crew team. I think there is no reason why he should not be on the team champion.
Do you know what any of the qualifications?
Nope.
Okay, so
Not a clue.
So
But-
other than just randomly throwing out unbiased ideas.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm looking at the people in the team champion. This is,
Okay.
and I have no clue why, but you look at it, you see Greg Barsby, you see Alex Geisinger, Avery Jenkins, Joe Rovier, Brian Schweberger, Brian is a phenomenal Masters player.
Who could be listed in the Masters
Could be
field,
listed in the Masters, but instead is listed
not.
in the team champion.
Yep.
David Wiggins Jr., just based on, and again, I'm going strictly based on play.
Okay.
Dustin had a pretty gosh darn good 2016 season. And I don't know what the qualifications are to be on the team champion versus, I know he's not, if you look at the star team, you can clearly see that there is a level there. But if I had to pick him over Greg Barsby, for whatever reason, I see those two. Dustin had a better year than Barsby. Barsby was hurt quite a bit this year.
Okay.
And Barsby's been a relatively, we'll say, fluid guy when it comes to sponsorship. Dustin's been, he's been sponsored by Innova. This is his second year, I believe. Maybe his third. Maybe even his third. I don't know why he wouldn't be on the team champion. Do you happen to know the qualifications? You announcing earlier tonight that you had one point been sponsored by Innova, and I know it's changed since then.
Yeah,
but
and honestly, I don't recall. I don't know if I could go back in emails and look for what. And I'm sure they've changed it. They certainly should have changed it.
I'm sure they have.
Since me leaving a few years ago. Well, I'll just lay this down a little bit for you. And I understand where you're coming from, but I'll give you some details to support or not your premise. So Dustin Keegan played in 20 events, and I'm gonna just for this.
Yep, I'm looking at Keegan's PDGA page right now.
For fairness, I'm gonna exclude pro mixed doubles only because that's an oddity. It's an XC tier, and it's with a partner, male or female doesn't matter. It's with a partner. All his other events. So essentially, we'll say he played in 19 events, taking in $8,900. So just short of we'll call it $9,000. 19 events for $9,000 with 0 wins.
Correct.
Greg Barsby, on the other hand, took in what he signed up for, 16 events, and did not complete excuse me, I thought there was more than one, but it looks like he did not complete the USDGC. Maybe I'm thinking of the year before.
Well, he also didn't complete the Pro Tour finale. He walked.
Okay.
But
Correct,
that's
which
not
isn't
on the
listed
list.
on
That's
here.
not on the list.
It wasn't sanctioned. So we'll say, and we'll exclude his mixed doubles where he did cash for a few dollars.
Yep.
So I said 16 events. Let's subtract 1 to get to 15. So ultimately, we'll say he signed up in 15, and looks like he cashed in all but one. He removed himself from the other.
Sure.
So he cashed in all but one event, where Keegan cashed in all of his applicable events that weren't doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Barsby cashed in all but one event, and he took home $8,200, $8,300. So he took home essentially $700 less in 3 less tournaments.
Exactly. That's again. I'm looking at like the B tier, the disco ball, where Keegan took 5th for 222. That's 3 of those. And just based on, and again, this is all a gut feeling because we don't know the qualifications, we don't know the contracts that they sign, we don't know what's going on. Just based on knowing Dustin in general, seeing how his year went, he cashing in every event other than the doubles.
Mm-hmm.
There, as a person who has no stake in it, I would make the argument that he probably, if Barsby is on that team, Dustin probably belongs on that team as well.
Okay.
But, again, all gut feelings. That was really the only one that stuck out to me. I saw Zoe was on the crew team, probably right about where she belongs this year. Hopefully, if she has another good year, she can, maybe she bumps up to the champion team champion. So, I mean, there again, we don't know the qualifications, but there are people on the team that, the team champion. Look at your Avery Jenkins, who played 3 events this year, or 4 events maybe.
Sure.
I'm not saying he doesn't belong in there, because he certainly does. He's a world champion, but he's taken a step back. He's now in a different position in disc golf. Your David Wiggins Jr., who only played in a handful of events, but now holds the world record for distance. He's got a
little bit more leverage there.
Yep. But you're Joe Roviers, who is a very good golfer and a very nice guy, by the way, but is a little bit more of a local Colorado guy. He doesn't travel to a lot of the big Pro Tour events, the NT events. He hits the really big events, and I'm not arguing that anyone should or shouldn't be on the team champion. Actually, I'm arguing someone should be on the team champion. I'm arguing that I would think Dustin should qualify for team champion. So
what I think we should have is the ultimate square off, where we get Dustin
versus Barsby.
Yeah, Dustin and Barsby on the line, and then you tell them why one belongs on and the other doesn't. I think that would be the ultimate square off.
I never said someone doesn't belong on team champion. I said someone does.
Okay. No, I understand. Again, they had ultimately very similar years this year. I would think it's a little bit more of the history that Barsby has, and some people on the board are saying, as people are chiming in, saying, I'd literally never heard of Dustin. I don't know who he is, or I didn't know who he was before this year.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people obviously would say Barsby's much more of a household name.
Yep.
Of clearly some of that is factored in. And now we also know that Barsby, I think your term was fluid, has been fluid with sponsors. Maybe in attracting Barsby to the end of a lineup,
required him to be on that particular team.
It may have, in
be.
fact, been a bargaining and or a some kind of incentive or something, saying, hey, if you're going to join our team, here's where we're going to place you right off the bat. I think it's fair to say, and maybe we could quickly look at career wins. We've got Dustin Keegan, who does not have the storied career.
No, Barsby has been playing for 10 to 15 years.
Longer.
Yeah.
So Dustin Keegan with 5 career wins versus Greg Barsby, who's I'm going to guess has, Greg
30,
Barsby
40?
with 53.
53, okay.
So I think that could get factored in. I think there's just more of a long-standing history with Barsby. Sure, you could look at this last year, and he's been injury-ridden for the last year and a half. But I think the overall look is, it definitely favors Barsby. I understand your argument, but
yeah. And
I can see why it favors Barsby in this situation.
Correct. So,
I know.
I can see based on history, based on play. I think I'll say this. I think Barsby is a slightly better player than Dustin. I think he's got a better overall game. But the way they've been playing this past year, and then when we're talking about going into the 2017 season, and with everyone shifting around, you kind of think it's what have you done for me lately? A lot of it, especially with Greg, I don't see where Dustin in any way ranks below Greg Barsby in the 2016 season. That's all I'm saying.
Certainly. I think their numbers show that. And as the board has said exactly what I said, which is I think it's safe to say that Barsby has been playing injured and has not been playing at 100%. And I think Keegan's had an injury or two as well. I'll say this, and this is obviously no disrespect at all to Keegan. I think you put what seems like Keegan in his prime, and maybe he hasn't hit it yet because he's continuing to get better.
Yep.
But Keegan in his prime versus Barsby in his prime, and Barsby has the upper hand.
Oh, for sure.
And again, some of that has factored in to maybe some of this team allotment. So,
I guarantee that.
and also coming in off the board, some great side conversation that is taking place. Some people are talking about Discraft and their sponsorship, whether it's of players and tournaments and such. I'll throw in my 2 cents in that. What I think we're seeing from someone like Discraft, and this was made very clear to me at the 2015 Am Worlds, which I helped cover. Johnny V and I were there for the crowning moments and such.
That's right.
Discraft really has right now, and maybe they forever will, has very much an emphasis in the youngest of the young. And I don't necessarily just mean junior players, but I mean really young up-and-comers kind of taking that chance on, the best example possible is your Austin Turner. Taking a chance on someone like that and supporting and backing him, and then seeing him go out and win things like, the throw down the mountain A tier this year, beating the likes of Ken Climo and others, and being one of the, contenders in North Carolina. You just see I don't think you're seeing Discraft go after necessarily, we'll say, household names or people that are with them right now. I think they're hoping to align themselves with a person or a name or a prodigy, for lack of a better term, a young up-and-comer, and then continue to work with them and support them until the names do become bigger. Of course, they have their Michael Joes
and their Nate Doss
and their Nate Doss and a number of other solid players.
Yeah, their tour team consists of Barham, Jeff Bennett, who's kind of been on and off the scene for a while, George Bino, I believe, Ben Calloway. That is a 404 page right there. Tyler Horn,
who we don't see as much. He's a little more regional.
Nate Cron,
who's typically a little bit more regional right now.
Yep.
So
and then Discraft. Fix your website. Getting a couple 404s on there.
Oh.
So click on a couple. There's a list of them on the tour team. And they've got a huge juniors team. I mean, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 10 or 11 juniors on the team. So you're right. They are focusing a lot on the younger players and hoping to kind of bring them along and get your next Paul Macbeth when he's super young.
Exactly.
It's a way to go. The problem with that is kind of like, I kind of equated to the problem like what the Brewers have.
They suck.
You have a really good young team. The problem is sometimes you can't hold on to them.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to put forth that effort to say, all right, you are a shining star. We will make every effort to keep you happy and keep you here and not have another company particularly scalp you.
Yeah, and that's become tougher and tougher because there are so many companies.
Oh, I mean,
back in my day,
EMAC was a huge Discraft guy until he teamed up with Rusco, and now he's a huge, obviously, Dynamic Disc. He's the face of Dynamic Disc right now, other than Bobby, of course.
Bobby.
So, but yeah, I mean, Discraft has had their players, and no doubt will have their players in the future. A lot of the stuff is cyclical.
There you go. And one thing that, again, some of you may or may not realize, depending on how fresh you are to the sport, for a little bit of time, with the exception of a Dez and a Val, Discraft owned the top women's players and field, so to speak. Having Paige Pierce on the team, having Katrina Allen on the team, having Sarah Hokum on the team. Discraft, that was
originally way back in the day, Juliana.
Yeah, exactly, way back in the day. So, that was certainly a strong suit. And then as we saw with Prodigy roll in, and Prodigy shook up a lot of the different teams. We also saw Kale LaVisca playing for Team Discraft before that. So you see, and Jeremy Coling also, again. So it was interesting. I think Prodigy really shook a lot of teams on their head as we saw these players go to Prodigy originally, and some have remained, obviously. Some have moved on. It's for lack of a better term, things have become very dynamic, very evolving and changing with all these new sponsors that have stepped up in the last few years.
Do you know what Team Kale plays for now?
I was going to say...
Team Engaged.
Oh, I was trying to think where you're going with that. I saw that, though.
Yeah, so congratulations out to Kale LaVisca. He posted out there with his selfie stick. I think he's engaged to a selfie stick. There was a girl in the photo too, but I always
she was holding the stick.
Yeah, I always see Kale with his selfie stick, so I'm just assuming that's who he's getting engaged with. So congratulations to Kale. Much prop to you. I was in Minnesota this past yesterday and today actually, and I driving around. I kept thinking, I'm like, God, there's courses all around this area, and I was thinking of Kale in general because he's from the area, and I was like, that guy, he's getting married. One of those. 6 months ago I would have never guessed it, and now he's all getting hitched up. So congratulations, Kale.
And not to get I don't think I'll give her your
break
address.
Your heart there.
Yeah. Victoria, who I met actually at Am Worlds. They were working the booth at Am Worlds, and so yes, as you said, congrats to them. Excited to see the details when one gets married. I mean, and when I say that, I think of the Shoestrick wedding, the Avery Jenkins wedding, the Doss wedding. I think of when our players get married, when they do it, who that affects, who's standing up in their as groomsmen, I think what time of year,
I think for Kale it's easy. I think Kale goes Ross Brandt, Dustin Honnell, and maybe Danny Polk. I don't know how close he is with Danny.
No, I wasn't going to say who. I wasn't worried about that. I was just thinking when.
Oh, as far as
and
when.
How it impacts. Because we all know
he's a golfer. It's got to be in the winter.
Okay.
Here, you have to go
that's what one assumes.
You have to go late fall, where the weather's still pretty decent. Maybe like right after USDGC is the best time, or it's so tough to find a spot early in the season, especially now when we have so many tours. So, or maybe he just doesn't care if national tour golfers come and it's just his local boys.
Yeah.
There's that option too.
So congrats to both of them. And speaking of newlyweds, that's almost a transition or a segue. Max Nichols, a relatively fresh newlywed, busting out a little trick shot action today. Did you see that?
I did not see that, no.
Yes, Max Nichols going with the double putt, and by that, it looked like Kit Carson, if I've been out to San Diego all of once. I think that was the course on the practice basket. He lobs up one putter toward the basket and then fires in the other putter, and they both go in.
I've seen that done before.
Trying to take that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool shot.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean if
Simon, right?
No, it's. I mean, of course not. No one's Simon other than Simon. But it's a good. If that's what your goal is, a good place to start. Pretty soon you'll be coming up with his own new original ideas, and he'll be wowing the crowds.
Okay, well, we saw it out there. Very nice. Yeah, trick shots. He had posted that 9 hours ago out on his page. Max is a Instagram guy as well, so you can go out and find it. But Max Nichols, part of the Team Innova crew, out there getting some trick shot action in. So.
And the only other news kind of broke just after last week's podcast was the Disc Golf Pro Tour announced their approved baskets for their tour. What they have is they've got a Mach X, an Innova disc catcher, the Prodigy disc, or the Prodigy basket. What's the name of the basket? The
B1. I'm not sure. We don't have any in Wisconsin. That's the only reason why I could say. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel bad because honestly, I don't know the name of their basket. Someone will correct me here. I'm sorry. The Prodigy. Oh, it's just called the Prodigy Pro Basket. That's why. And then of course the Dynamic Disc Veteran. So those are the 4 baskets that are approved apparently this year for 2017. I had mentioned to you that in the past And this year, I believe Ledgestone is a
Pro
Tour
stop.
event. That's a big Discraft event. I would have thought that we'd see some chain stars there, but if these
in the
are
last few years we have, of which
Yep.
I've won one,
yeah,
in a
that's
huge
what-
fundraiser,
and this year they're only playing, as far as we know. I thought we were only heard they might only be playing Eureka,
the temporary course.
the temporary course, which has always had chain stars. So I'm wondering if this year they're going to go to the Mach X, or if we're going to see something else that we're not privy to. Maybe the approved baskets will be changed or adjusted by then. I don't know.
Maybe
It's
they'll be change starred.
starred. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, certainly. I will. Yeah, I wonder how that. I'm just interested to see. We'll see how that unfolds with that basket. Because what's been cool, and to just take one step further with that, the last 2 years, Discraft has worked with the event to provide a specific powder coated color for this event, for this Ledgestone, that then doubles as a basket raffle / fundraiser for St. Jude, and has brought in tens of thousands of dollars in raffling off those baskets, all 18 of the baskets that were used each of the last 2 years. So, like you said, we may see a different manufacturer. Presumably, of all those, I would think it would be DGA, but maybe there'll be some other hybrid or other basket that we're going to see come about. But
we're getting word on the board that it is the Prodigy T1, as in Target 1.
So close.
Yeah.
I thought it was one letter and then
I thought so, kind of going along their things, but when I looked at the announcement, it was just called the Prodigy Pro Basket. So
okay. Well, and for what it's worth, as I said, I got to admit, we don't have. Well, I haven't played on any. We don't have any in Wisconsin.
I have yet to throw a disc at one.
I have not seen any myself. I have not seen them in a competitive tournament, actually. Obviously, they're a newer basket in the last couple years, but I have not seen them in a competitive tournament yet. So I'll be interested to see. I've heard good things about them and how they catch and whatnot. So I'd be excited to see that. And speaking of manufacturers, someone that has supported our show, someone that supported the Pro Tour, is Daredevil. And along with Daredevil, Nico LaCastro released a video yesterday or the day before where I think it was just yesterday, where he was throwing a number of his Daredevil discs. I think he gets a lot of requests and a lot of questions. Hey, you're sponsored by them, and what do they fly like? And he went out with Pavu, who shoots some great video and does some great editing, and he just threw, he told you what the disc was, and he said, here's the line, or here's how I'm going to throw it, and he'd throw it toward a basket, and more often than not, it would do exactly what he said it was going to do, and then there's a couple funny outtakes at the end. So nice little video put together. I think a lot of people, that's one of the best ways they can learn about the new discs if they can't get out there and throw themselves or don't want to pay to throw them themselves, is when someone like a Nico says, okay, here's a disc and here's how it flies, and then he throws it a number of times for you. So that's out there, released by Nico and Pavu recently, so very cool. Kevin McCoy's on the board, just firming up a few basket details. Someone's asking who makes the best basket. That we can't get into because that could be an all-day conversation. But Kevin says the T1s are all over Georgia already. Very similar to the Mach X. They don't like low left and right, but you can't get it to go through the chains, so you'll never have a spit through, so to speak. So, and of course, it makes sense. They're in Georgia, headquartered, and a lot of Prodigy stuff comes right out of Georgia. So having baskets in that immediate area makes perfect sense.
Someone says here a basket is a basket is a basket. Totally disagree with that. Every basket has its strengths and weaknesses. It's just a matter of knowing them. And that's honestly, I think we've discussed this before. That's part of being a pro. That's part of knowing where the sweet spot on a particular basket might be. Whether it's, this basket doesn't catch if it's wide, this basket doesn't catch very well if you throw it light. As a pro, you need to know that. You need to understand what each basket is.
And Jeremiah, where he says a basket is a basket, disagree with your final statement where you say all the same dimensions. They are absolutely not. There is an allowable amount of space that the baskets and the chains can have. There's different configurations, whether it has 12, 18, 16, 24 or more chains in it. There's different ways the chains themselves are configured. The height of the basket, there's there are ranges for every single spec on a basket, but that is just that. It's a range. It's an allowable range. So you can have two baskets that catch and feel completely different and essentially look completely different, but they still are within the PDGA allowable guidelines. And that was done on purpose. Just like discs, we have these guidelines that they have to be within. But as we all know, that's like saying a disc is a disc is a disc. It's got a flat rim and very different.
They're all touchy. I mean, everything, like I said, they all have their pros and cons, and that comes like. But what someone said, you know what the best basket is? The one that's in your local course.
That's so positive. I like that.
I like
and Carver
that too.
says baskets make great scapegoats. I was going to say they should.
A lot of times they do.
Somebody should name the next basket the excuse or something like that.
That'd be great.
Always have an excuse to blame it on. And one thing that I do like about the baskets, we're seeing more and more baskets become various colors. Of course, I like them when they stay colored. And I know there's various options for powder coating and all these different things that they can do and dipping and whatnot. I like. At first, I was kind of turned off by basket colors, but now they're growing on me.
I think they add a nice a uniqueness to a course. Depending on the type of course, I think it can be very valuable. If we've seen. I believe it's I want to say it's Rolling Ridge that has
three different baskets,
three different basket colors, and some of them are harder to see than others. Having a black basket is awful. Like, because once, especially in a wooded area, you want to have a black basket in a wide open area. That's fine, where there's not a lot of woods. When you get to a heavily wooded area, I would almost prefer like I know it sounds ugly, but like a lime green or a yellow, like the Innova baskets. I think the disc catchers are great baskets in the woods because they're so easy to spot. Now, you can argue all you want about the band, but there are certain baskets I think that are easier to spot depending on what the type of course is. And that's something that a really thoughtful course designer may have to think about. So if you're going to get a custom type basket, that is.
Those could all be incorporated. And speaking of baskets, I'm going to share a fun little game.
Ooh.
Didn't know this. This is a pro tip when you're traveling on the road.
It's not a game then. It's a pro tip. Make up your mind.
It's a fun game. It's not a pro tip.
Okay.
This is a fun little game that I think I've been playing with a number of individuals for at least 20 years. At least 20 years now. I've played it with the likes of Nate Doss. I've played it with Johnny V. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at this game. I think better than most of the people I've played against, maybe because I know the rules and I'm the one describing them. But it's pretty simple, and here's the game. I'll give you the title first. The game is called First Basket.
Oh my God.
This just stick with me. This is amazing. So anytime,
I think I've won this game like twice in my life.
Maybe. I don't know. So anytime you and your buddies are traveling to a course and you guys, at least anyone participating, are the people in the car are seeing the course for the first time ever. So you and your three buddies get in the car and you're going to go play course X. Nobody's ever been there before. As you're driving to the course, usually within probably a block or so, you need to be on high alert. And to play first basket, all you simply need to do is spot the very first basket on the course
that you see, not basket one.
Nope.
Just if you're pulling it on the back side of the course and hole 7 is the one you see,
doesn't matter. Yep.
What do you yell?
First basket. And that's your game, folks.
For 20 years. 20 years I've had to hear that. And like I said, maybe twice in my life have I been the one, first basket.
Yeah.
Very rarely. Just because I'm usually not paying attention or don't care. Eagle
eyes right here.
But Terry here.
You gotta be ready. and I think it was with Nate this summer. I was explaining it to him, but you have to be ready, and you have to know that when you're pulling up to a course that you've never seen, you gotta yell first basket. Again, any basket. It's not the tees. It's not anything else. It's first basket, and you point to it. So your visibility is what brought me to that idea. So I know it's probably mind blowing. I hope you guys can collect yourselves. thinking like, oh my God.
I can't believe I've never played this game.
And I can't believe we are 123 podcasts in, and you guys are finally giving us this nugget of beautiful information.
2 years people could have been playing First Basket.
Oh my God,
and
I know.
you-
I feel like
and
I've let you down.
you have more ways than
There's
one.
going to be more games,
But-
and more pro tips and games in the future. But anyway, First Basket. That's the name of the game. That's how you play. Tell me in your post on my wall. Next time you guys go out with your buddies, I want to know if you're playing First Basket and which one of you won.
All right, I went through the news that I kind of had listed off. Do you have any news or notes or anything
no,
that I didn't cover?
No, I think we've covered most of the stuff that we were talking about. Yeah, everything that we've kind of gone over was on my list here.
Awesome.
Birthdays, trick shots, Raz Round, Chaining in the New Year, that event taking place.
Yeah, we know.
On December 31st. Yeah, those were most of my notes, and it was great having Dana back and being able to catch up with him. It's been a minute, as him and the other kids say. That's a good line of Dana's. So I think what we're going to do is we can cut this. We can officially wrap up our regular podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you guys can join us for the after show. All you got to do is stick around. If you're listening live here on YouTube, just stick around. It's pretty easy. How about this? I'm going to go ahead and say,
Oh, wow. What are you going to say? Please don't. That's one word.
This pains me to say this, but I like you guys. I'm going to give away a pack of Disc Golf Pro Tour cards to our live audience during
Ooh,
the after show.
cool.
One pack giving away of our Disc Golf Pro Tour cards somehow during the after show. So it gives you a little more incentive to stay tuned for the next 6 to 10 hours. No, for the next hour or so. So for Johnny V and myself, for Danamite, who made his triumphant return here for podcast 123, stick around. We're going to have the after show with a giveaway of some Disc Golf Pro Tour cards. Stay tuned. Step inside the Smashbox.
No. Hi, Dana. How you doing?
Let me talk to Dana. No, is that
You want-
Dana? Is that the real Danamite? Oh, nice to meet you, Dana. Welcome, everyone.
You're the best disc golfer I've ever seen.
That's right, Dana. Welcome, everyone, to Smashbox TV's podcast 123 after show.
What's going on?
Not too much. It was really good to have Dana during our regular show.
It's great to have Dana back.
We love having him here. We've got some fresh faces and some new people in on the board. We welcome everyone. We'll repeat it yet again. If you're here and you're live on Tuesday night, all you got to do is stay tuned and chime in on the YouTube page, our live feed there. That's where you can interact. You can ask us questions, and we're going to see what's going on. And also, that will be the method here tonight, the method of our madness that will help generate some question and answer of some kind to give you guys a shot at a pack of Disc Golf Pro Tour cards. A single pack sponsored by none other than myself.
Chaining in the New Year.
Chaining in the New Year. My PDGAC tier that you should sign up for and come play. So the Disc Man on the board says, same feed, stay here. Yes, you're in the right spot.
Yes, you are.
The
So
Disc
same.
Man.
The Disc Man. That's a new. Are you a new viewer?
I'm
the
guessing
Disc Man?
he
Because I
is.
haven't seen your name before, and if you're asking if it's the same feed, you clearly don't know that we just take a break, a couple seconds, catch our breath, talk about who
annoyed us.
annoyed us the most, and then mute the microphones. Usually, I'll have a drink or two, and yeah, then Terry will come back and go dun dun dun.
And we're here. So
So-
this is the after show. Things are a little bit looser. May or may not involve some disc golf and some other ramblings. We got to start with the weather, Johnny. What is up with this weather? It's certainly not the mercury. That's way down or something. It's cold in Wisconsin. It's officially.
It is. Guess what?
cold.
It's winter.
I know, but it's
Like-
cold. This is the coldest we've seen this year. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's cold.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, the coldest we've seen?
This year?
Oh, you want to get tricky because it could have happened last February.
That's right.
Okay.
And this is one of the things, and I'll say it bothers me. People that like, oh my God, it's so cold. Oh, this winter. Like, yeah. Guess what? for us up here in the north, it's what you do. It's what happens. Yes, it's cold outside. Yes, it sucks. But we live here. We torture ourselves because guess what? We're too stupid to move. I mean, and we have lives here and settled. But what I'm just saying, I hate that complaint that it's so cold. Unless the only reason you have to complain is if you're working outside. If you're working on our highway system, if you're working on a building, if you're working on a roof, then complain that it's cold. If your job involves you getting into a car, which you may have already ran outside to turn on to warm up, and driving somewhere else just to get out and go into another building, I don't want to hear your complaints. I'm just saying.
I'm glad. I don't think I really had to leave my house yesterday, which was fine. I don't really care. I don't mind the weather
I know.
at all. Like you said, I expect it to be cold. I think the reason for notification is when it sometimes comes abruptly, especially if we've experienced some pretty mild temperatures, and then it hits you.
If you're talking like outrageous cold, like negative 20, negative 40
then
wind
we
chill,
can talk about it.
At that point, then I think it's kind of newsworthy. When you're talking like 0 degrees, like, yeah, it's 0 degrees.
Alrighty, so moving on from the weather segment, we're going to be checking out the board, seeing what's going on. Kevin McCoy says it's not even officially winter yet. You're right, Kevin.
Yep.
We got another week or so for that.
So for those of you that, I know we say this once in a great while, and I just happened to bring it up. If you go to gaming.youtube.com
Wait, let me go.
/user/SmashboxTV, there is a whole nother YouTube viewing experience for you. Basically, then you can click on the live one, and the chat's on the right side. It's a darker video, and that's gaming.youtube.com/user/SmashboxTV. I kind of like it better than the standard YouTube that we see, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. It's all exactly the same.
Yeah, it looks
so.
Yeah, it's serves the same purpose, just has a little bit different look and feel to it.
Just a little different look, and there's a nice little $sign symbol there, so you can give us money. But other than that,
oh yeah, that's true.
No, other than that, it's the same. It just kind of looks different. So there's that.
Wow, even one of our good friends, Steve Held, seems to be out on the board here tonight.
Oh boy.
Steve,
boy, he says. Steve Held still nursing an open wound beatdown from fantasy football. Not from me personally this weekend, but Steve is in. We originally we called it the Disc Golf League because it was a bunch of disc golfers. Barry Schultz was originally in our league. It was myself, Steve.
Name dropper.
Yep. I'm just saying we had some of the big ones, and Mark Moose Luback, who was AM World Champion. We had in our
1998 AM World Champ. Yep.
And since then they've all dropped out.
Wow.
So Steve losing by 0.9 points this weekend on a
It sounded a little closer than I thought it was going to be. He was
down by
crying about it all Sunday.
Yeah, he was down by like 11 points. He was up by 11 points. I'm sorry, and Justin Tucker, the kicker, scored 12 points to knock him out, and makes me kind of laugh. So, but nobody likes to hear. Honestly, I'll say this: nobody wants to hear your fantasy football sob stories unless you're in the league. So
yeah, because everybody's got them.
Everybody has them. So Steve's a little sour and sore. So reach out to him, give him a nice big kiss.
Yeah, PDGA 7257. Also, he was excited. Apparently, ratings again refreshed in the last few weeks, and Steve's starting to make his climb upward again, as being one of the more consistent pros here in Wisconsin that's been able to travel around and travel around within Wisconsin.
Yeah,
he wouldn't dare leave the state. I don't think anyone will let him. Wait, that sounds bad.
Yeah, that's a different subset.
All right, his wife
golfers.
won't let him. I should be very clear on that. But we're seeing things slow down a little bit. One thing I'll say regarding PDGA stats, updates, and things. The other day when I went out and sanctioned can you guess what event?
Chaining in the new year?
Yes, good call. That's on December 31st. When I went to sanction that, what was great was it was actually all automated. So again, the PDGA making strides there. You used to go out and fill out a sanctioning form online. It would take a day or two. They'd send you back some information, and then you'd be able to log in and do all that stuff. It's actually gotten to a point where that's fully automated. So after a short period of time, I was able to log in and then immediately start uploading competitors to that list. So it's really
Sure.
cool to see. I know that's helping the office staff, but that's also helping tournaments all over the place move a little bit quicker. So shout out, thanks to the PDGA. They got a lot of work to do, and they know it, and they keep having things added to their plate. So it's good to see both large and small things come off their to-do list every day. Wow.
Right before we got on the air, I know some people enjoy some of my my particular
Nobody
picks
Oh.
as far as things to read, things to listen to, things to watch. I am right literally before the podcast, I told my wife, I said, hey, can you download some Audible books for me? And
Should those be called Audible books?
yeah, I mean, I guess define what's the definition of a book? Is it a physical object, or is it like a novel? A novel is the collection of a word. Is the book the actual physical thing? I mean, it's audio. They're called audiobooks, but anyway.
Could it be called a podcast at that point? Could it be called a broadcast?
It could be, no, it's slightly different.
Okay.
Anyway, two things that I had her download. One is called Catalyst, which is a prequel to the Rogue One story. So I'll be hopefully taking that in over the next 3 to 4 days before I go see Rogue One. And the other, if you're interested in it, is called The Expanse. There's a sci-fi TV show out there called The Expanse. I've watched season 1. I guess there's like 6 books. They just released the 5th or 6th book. And I'm going to start reading that. And from everything that I hear, the books are phenomenal. If you're into sci-fi, all that stuff, or if you like the TV show The Expanse, go ahead and pick those up. So that's my pick for this week. Are 2 books, Catalyst and The Expanse series.
See, that's funny because I thought the name brand on my belt was called The Expanse. Okay, maybe not. Anyway.
No,
not so much. What else do we have going on in the world of disc golf or beyond? We talked in the regular show quite a bit about. We saw Innova with a really concentrated effort in putting out their team announcements.
Yep, a coordinated effort, we'll say.
Yep, and
Social media blast.
quite a few people. We had talked about a number of people.
I
Nobody
don't
made
know.
any announcements. Hey guys,
Hey, this is what we do.
that's what you do, yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah. It seems like the star team are the players that get the sponsored discs, like they get the fundraiser discs, and it doesn't appear that the other players do.
Well, there's the Tour Series disc.
The Tour Series discs that you can see, like the Nate Sexton Firebird, or the Val Jenkins Starfire, or I think the Brinster T-Bird. So that's what it looks like. So I'm curious, if you look at some of the star players, scroll back up. No, scroll down. I'll scroll up. Like Jen Allen, is she going to get a Tour Series disc, or is her distance championship disc going to be enough? What is Philo going to get a Tour Series disc? And if so, what are they going to be? Hannah Leatherman, is she going to be picking up a Tour Series
She
disc?
has one.
Oh, she does. That's right.
She had one last
You're right.
year.
She had one last year. You're right.
Yeah, and that's you're kind of on track, but kind of not. They need to update Juliana's. I think that picture's from 15 years ago.
Doesn't matter. She's still on the team.
I know, but they need to update her image.
Maybe she doesn't want it. She's forever young.
Yeah, I mean, but we've seen a special. I believe we saw a small special Tour Series disc by Sarah Cunningham at one point. Avery Jenkins has obviously had one.
But Avery had one in the past, not this. I don't think he'll have one this year.
Yeah, good question.
I
yeah, that is a good question. And David Wiggins Jr. He has
the one because the distance title, not necessarily because of his position on the team.
Yeah, so that will be interesting to see.
I'm just curious of whether those guys at the star team will get them or not.
One of the things that I find,
I like putting pressure on manufacturers,
calling
them out.
You are. They're all listening.
I think most of them do.
Or
at least they hear about it from somebody who may listen.
Whether we're being nice or not.
I don't care.
There was one particular person that I thought kind of struck me. I thought it was funny seeing. I'm sorry, I'm going to get there eventually. No, I guess not. I thought there was somebody in the junior team. I thought I saw Anthony Barella. Maybe this was a day or two ago. Maybe it was a few days ago. I thought I saw Anthony Barella on the junior team. And I was thinking, like, This guy's a caching pro.
But
I'm
he's
not
still only
sure.
16.
Yeah, no, I am absolutely correct. Somebody used the Wayback Machine from 3 days ago. Isaac McDonald and Anthony Barella were both, I think, listed on the junior team a few days ago, and neither of them are listed there now, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I see Isaac is on the crew team now.
They're on the crew team.
Where's Barella?
Also now on the crew team.
Oh,
But I believe
Yep, I
I
missed
was on
that.
the site a few days ago because I have nothing better to do with my life than to search around sponsored players.
Let me guess. It was probably about 2:30 in the morning.
Probably. But yeah, I think they got moved. So maybe somebody can confirm that. Billy Bednar, you got to go back and look at, listen to the podcast from earlier in the evening. Danamite did a phenomenal job of breaking down what his top 5 moments of the year were. We had then a pretty healthy discussion about them. And I mean, we could all come up with our top 5. I think a lot of them are going to be kind of in the same general area, though. So, Felberg healthy, as far as we know. I know I'm going to be talking to him soon about an event that he wants recorded in a few weeks.
He played a week and a half ago or so over in California, and
the team event.
And seemed, as Doss had said, he seemed like he was throwing relatively well, just trying to knock some rust off.
Mm-hmm. So, and Dave Felberg's soon to be pushing that master's age, like our good friend Steve.
Easy. Maybe he doesn't want everyone to know that.
Well,
some ladies
too
don't
late.
like their names, their ages put out there.
And so Dave Felberg, I don't think it's going to be this year. I think that may or may not be a question for him next year, or maybe it is even going to be this year. I don't recall exactly when his birthday is. So
I thought it was next year. I thought this year is he 39? I thought he was 30.
I believe he's only 38. I think
he was
the
38, almost
exact
exact same age as us. So I think next year maybe it'll be really what he needs to look at.
You're 38 now. You turned 39 in March.
Yep, 3 months.
So yeah, you and I both have a full year.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that I can't play Masters this year. I was like, one more year, which means I might play 1 or 2 events this year and then come hard at Masters going for that World Championship.
Yes, you definitely will be going hard at that World Championship title.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, Kurt on the board saying, again, I believe Felberg may be eligible in 2017. That does sound right. I think I heard that as well. So we may see that.
So maybe you know this. This is not disc golf related at all.
Maybe I know this.
Maybe you know this. Someone had said, "Hey John, that Derek Jeter rookie card that you had."
Yeah, talked about it in the.
I talked about during the show. I'm looking out here, and clearly this is it's like a rated card. I think you have to send it someplace to get rated. Some of them are going for like $500,
Sweet.
and some of them are going for $6 or $2. But some of these, I'll bring this over and maybe show people exactly what we're talking about.
Most people were curious in the after show about your
about my baseball card,
Derek Jeter
my
rookie card.
It's just someone said, "Hey, that could be worth a couple $100."
Sure.
And
it could be worth 6 cents.
It could be worth 6 cents,
and not the postage you're going to even pay to mail it to someone.
I'll say this: it is in, from what I can tell, absolute mint condition. It was put in probably one of this plastic case in 1993, because that was like right at the end of when I would have ever bought a baseball card. Because once I got to high school, I kind of quit that, and so it was probably put in there, and it's never been touched, other than me looking at it and like, oh, look at what I have. So I'm kind of curious as to what the process is. I know we've talked about this as far as discs go. Somebody was going out there and actually, you could send them your disc and they would go and rate the disc, the quality, whether it's a 10 or a 9.5 or an 8, as far as the quality or the status that it's currently in. So I don't know.
That's a really sore subject.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Not
is
for
that?
me. The beloved.
Come on, tell us. We got. This is what the after show's for. We got backstory.
The
here.
beloved John Earhart, unfortunately had a fall from. I don't know if it's a fall from grace or not, but very highly respected and revered and considered one of the forefront godfathers. One of the godfathers, I would say, of disc golf and disc golf collecting. A world champion before the likes of Ken Climo. He started a service, and I remember him showing it to me, and I think I did a video blog that involved it, and he essentially started a service where you would be able to send in discs. He would give you, he had this very detailed and elaborate system and scale and measuring and all this other stuff, and he would essentially rate the disc upon all these very extensive criteria, and then he'd send it back to you. After decades of being, again, one of the greatest, most respected collectors in disc golf, he had some kind of just crazy hiatus and just more or less disappeared for a while.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it was at a time where after a bunch of people had sent him a bunch of their really expensive plastic. And so I don't know if the board is lighting up or not, but this was taking place out on one of the Facebook groups. I went to bat for him at first. I vouched for him and said he's a really good guy. He's a stand-up guy. I can't imagine he's doing anything scrupulous. And weeks and months and now over a year has gone on, and there's been some variations of resolution to it. And he may get people to forgive. I don't know that he'll ever get them to forget.
Disc golfers have a long memory.
It's too
for
bad,
better
though,
or
because,
worse.
again, I would have placed any amount of money on this guy being as solid as they get, being who he was and the name he had for himself for all these years. And then he just, I don't know. There was clearly something personal in his life that made him go completely, I don't know if AWOL is the proper term or not, but he just, and I don't know if he still has plastic, but people had sent him hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of discs that he was supposed to grade and then return. And I want to say, I think most people got all of it back, probably without the service actually happening. But it was really poor timing for him to flake out, I guess. And again, I think we're past the part of, unfortunately, me being overly polite about it. I was going to bat for him for the longest time, and then unfortunately, it just all these people and all these situations stacked up against him, and I feel bad if something unfortunate happened in his situation, which is what I think was the case. It just it may have permanently tarnished his name. Worked with Innova, is a world champion, all of those types of things. And John Ahart, I apologize. People are wondering if there's the name. Someone says, Bobby says, there's always that one guy. He wouldn't have been that one guy I would have ever bet against, though.
Well, maybe that's what he's saying. There's always the one guy you wouldn't bet against. That just...
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's and there's still probably controversy, and I know it gets talked about and brought up every once in a while. And I feel really bad for all parties involved. It's an interesting service. Some people loved or hated it. I think he was creating a really unique niche market because he was going to be the only official person to be doing this. And by all accounts, he was the most credible person to be doing it as well. And so that's why I would have never second-guessed it. And unfortunately, it just kind of fell. It fell, and it was not good. So
bummer. Yeah,
it's really unfortunate. But how I got off on that tangent was you talking about grading cards and whatnot.
As opposed to grading discs.
Yeah, it's... I mean, he was talking about foils and stamps and scratches and imperfections on it. And, he was going to, he had, again, all these different categories for everything that you're saying. And then what he would do is he was going to seal it in some kind of plastic or something, seal it, and then send it back to you with the seal along with the paperwork. Mm-hmm. And obviously, with the idea that, as long as the seal is intact, here's what I found and here's what I attest.
And I understand that for collector's discs.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
Which was his primary focus.
As opposed to, you selling, like, we'll just say, a second run destroyer. Something that might have a little bit of value, but isn't what, early rocks or, 9-time rocks or whatever are going for. Something that someone's probably wants to throw. Like, if you could tell me, like, oh, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10, like, I don't care, I'm going to throw it. Yeah,
correct. Similarly, you're gonna have someone maybe assess the condition of a first run bar stamp buzz versus the buzz you went and picked up at, your local
Played
Dick's
Again
Sporting
Sports,
Goods.
or Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, exactly. You're certainly not going to do that. So, Jeremiah brings up on the board, there is a certain interesting phenomenon that also takes place sometimes on Facebook, depending on who you are in the group that you're in or groups, when some people have said, oh, my bag got stolen last night. Or I saw someone who said, unfortunately, I think their house or apartment or whatever was on
saw
fire. And I think they were avid MVP throwers. And whether it was MVP and or other MVP throwers stepped in and really helped him to replace his disc.
A small collection, like a bag's worth, probably.
Yeah, correct. What is disheartening is the one time I heard of a gentleman claiming that his bag had been stolen, talked about all the different things that he had, and then somehow it was discovered later that he actually did have all his, talk about like the lowest of low.
Well, when my bag got stolen out of my car, I had 3 Pluto platters.
Yes.
A couple Midnight Flyers.
Couple of Paul Macbeth champion cards in there.
Oh, yeah.
Those were tucked away. They hadn't been created yet.
Yeah, but at least 3 of those.
Yes.
A couple first-run destroyers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's too bad some of these guys take advantage of other people's generosity out there, but disc golfers are trying to help out as best as they can.
We have like I said, we have a long memory, but I would say overall we're a pretty charitable group. Like
absolutely, I think
overall.
there's been plenty of times where people have stepped up in need. And I'll say, just recently, even within the group, someone, one of the selling groups on Facebook, someone said, well, this guy kind of screwed me over. I was trying to purchase X, Y, and Z, and he kind of screwed me over, and I'm out the money. And then immediately someone else said, well, hey, I'll give you either a really good deal or I'll just send you something for free or whatever. There's plenty of good guys out there. And this is maybe a little bit more detailed than some care about, maybe not. There was quite a hefty debate the other day regarding shipping of discs, and one of our larger online retailers was shipping. I wish you had some examples here. We're shipping discs inside USPS, so the U.S. Post Service, inside their priority envelopes, inside a flipped inside priority box. So they were taking, basically, if you go to the post office today and you wanted to get a box, they offer 3 or 4 or 5 different sizes of United States priority boxing that are free for you.
Yep.
Okay? So if you grab that and you come home, you stuff your items in there, whatever it may be, in any of the various sizes, you can ship it out. That box, so to speak, is included. It's free to do it. What you aren't supposed to do is go to the post office, grab these boxes, and either cut them up or cut them apart and turn them inside out.
Yeah.
To turn them into non-distinguishable boxes, and then go ahead and ship with them.
Oh, that's interesting. So basically, somebody was getting free boxes and using them to send discs.
Well, and you've seen the Tyvek, the really, really sturdy.
Yes, those bags.
So they were essentially using those as shipping bags as well, then inside the box. So they had turned in a priority box inside out, and then used a whole bunch of priority mailers to basically use as stuffing and or to hold the disc inside of that, and then shipped all of them. And some post office representatives that were in this group said, just so you know, if they open that, you could get billed for every single one of those.
Wow.
A priority rate for every single one of those. And then, of course, the other argument in that same vein was, you're taking all of these supplies, which are free to all of us, and if you're taking them and using them and then ultimately not paying for them, that's obviously going to drive the cost of those up in the long run.
I guess the question is...
It's like anything else you steal.
Of course, could the argument be made, and I'm not making it, that, oh, no, I had all these bags lying around because they were shipped to me. Like, I've been shipped, so I used it as stuffing.
Sure, if you're reusing it, of course, I think everyone would have a different opinion.
Of course.
If I and sometimes I keep
and they could probably tell because it'd be stamped or something.
It'd be stamped
or
have a name or some kind of sticker on it. So it was an interesting debate, and I don't know if it's fair to say this is the most interesting part of the debate, but it's coming from a relatively large online retailer within disc golf. So it'd be one thing, I think, well, not that it makes it any better, if I did that and I shipped to you.
Sure. 2
random guys shipping discs back and forth, still illegal, still not allowed. However, this was coming from a relatively large online retailer and was shipping it out to a customer, and then that's when it was made note. And here's maybe the funniest part.
Okay.
The person that received this said, hey guys, I think this company did a really good job. Look how they packed all my stuff and took a picture and put it online.
Sure.
And from there, everybody else blew up and said, yeah, that's great, but look what they did.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So that kind
sure
of-
that disc is going to get you in mint condition, but the steps they took to get there, not the best way.
So it was an interesting argument.
What's the best way to ship a disc, Terry? If you're sending me one disc,
It
what's the-
depends. To me, it depends on the value.
let's just say a standard $12 disc.
Okay. In that case, I personally, lately, I've been putting them in an actual box made for shipping. I put them in a box, and I'll send it to you that way because I love the security of having a box,
Sure.
a single disc mailer that's protecting your disc. If I know it's a thrower and it's worth $12, I also think going with a regular bubble mailer, and then I like to put a piece of cardboard behind it inside there.
Just make sure it doesn't get too twisted.
Correct. I'll put a bubble mailer and put a piece of cardboard in it and send it to you. Now, if I'm sending you a $40 or $100 disc, I will then make sure to send it in cardboard. I won't put that in a bubble mailer. You can take that chance, and it probably will be fine.
But why?
But I
risk
don't
it?
like to take that chance. So,
Okay.
yeah. And
I've never sent out a disc to anybody particular. I always, if I need to send something like for Smashbox, I give it to Terry because he's the post office rat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I am. Post office rat. So, yeah, anyways, it was funny how this entire original piece of feedback, we'll say, just kind of spawned into a totally different conversation about really legitimate legalities of abusing USPS. And it's like anything else. Nothing's free. So, you know, when you think you're taking these free supplies and then you're abusing them, I think we all know that's just going to ultimately raise the shipping rates in the long run. So some people are talking about mystery boxes. This is kind of the season for them. We have a number of manufacturers out there. It's very common practice, and believe it or not, shocker, spoiler, this is not just a disc golf thing. Mystery boxes I see happen in other industries. I think they're great. However, I think the people that are purchasing them need to keep in mind that you're buying a mystery. When you purchase a mystery box, don't assume that you're going to be able to take all the contents out
We talked about this last
and
week.
then turn around and flip them,
Yeah.
did we?
Yeah,
Well,
we-
people are asking again.
Yeah,
but-
because you said some people get really upset about mystery boxes because they can't turn it around for a
and
profit.
flip it for a profit. Yeah. So, okay, I'll reiterate that then since people are asking about it. But there's a bunch of them out there. A bunch of manufacturers have them. I'm offering them. They can be a fun way. What I think they're great for specifically is you want maybe a variety of products, or you just think it's cool to get different things. Like, oh, I don't just want a disc. I know anything I'm shipping out, you're going to get some discs, of course, but you're going to get some other odds and ends that I think are unique or have some story or history to within disc golf. Maybe a pack of cards. I don't know. Yeah.
How are you going to give away these cards tonight?
Oh, shoot. I don't know.
We got to do it soon.
Yeah, we do. Off the board, someone says, did you guys see the pic of the rock that got shipped in no packaging and just had the address written on the disc? I don't know if that was recently or not. I know I've seen something like that years ago where someone literally just wrote the address and the information on the disc and then ship it to someone. I think it's kind of a prank. That could be kind of funny if you're shipping it out to someone. But I would not recommend doing that unless you want really negative feedback for your shipping practices.
No, that was really funny a couple of years ago when you and I were sitting down at Qdoba for the Secret Santa giveaway, and you got this bag, and you were all excited to open it up to see what someone sent you, and it was like the most beat up crud,
nasty,
nasty disc, and then it was written, I think, actually on the disc or something like ha ha ha.
Yeah,
you'll get your real one in like a week or so.
Correct. Yeah. So they got me good.
Very funny.
Anything out on the Reddits? People talk about.
Nope. I looked.
Just to clarify, I don't think this is something we talk about too often. Disc golf information.
Disc golf information. So there's a few places I scour for disc golf information. Disc golf course review.
Besides my brain.
Well, that's your information.
You get the good stuff from right here.
Disc golf course review tends to have usually more in-depth conversations about a particular subject.
Okay.
Whether
Message board format.
Message board format. Reddit, you get the occasional in-depth conversation, but usually you'll see news pop up there, but there's not a lot of feedback. And Reddit is a lot of TIL. Do you know what TIL stands for? Good Reddit language.
I do, and it's funny because I just thought of it today because I saw it and I was like, I had to think about it.
Today I learned.
Today I learned. That'd be a good one for me to learn.
Yeah, TIL. Like I literally saw this a couple days ago. TIL. Val Jenkins and Nate Doss have a brewery. They're trying to start a brewery. Like I laughed. I was like, today you learned that? Like, and I thought, well, maybe they're new to disc golf and this and that. Maybe they're not in the know. But Reddit tends to have a lot of information, a lot of newbies on Reddit, people that are kind of getting in and maybe more local. It's a good place. I'll go there for some information. Obviously, I have you for information. You tend to have a lot of more of the inside scoop. But really, those are kind of, and then there's some Facebook. I'm friends with a lot of the golfers on Facebook, so I see things that pop up like Kale's engagement and stuff like that. So those are really like the main for me.
So Reddit/disc golf.
Reddit/r/disc golf.
Okay.
And disc golf course review. Those are the big forums where most people kind of hang out. And as any forum goes, and anytime you get really nitty gritty, Reddit, as I said, Reddit is a little more surface. Course review gets a little bit more in depth. But what comes along with course review is sometimes a lot of negativity and a lot of piling on. And I'll say I tend to, I'm 50-50 on both of them. I would say I scour them both and I comment on both and I tend to, correct people on both. But
You're so nice.
Well, sometimes, not so much sometimes.
Okay. I was just thinking that I don't religiously check either of those. Rarely or occasionally, more often than not, when I go to either of those, someone points me to them. It could be you, could be Danamite,
Sure.
could be whomever. I was much more active in message boards, especially the PDGA's message board, many eons ago, and I followed that quite religiously. And at some point when that went away, I felt really comfortable with finally letting that go because I feel like it's just a bottomless pit of possibly of time suck.
It somewhat can be.
And more often than not, I find that trying to interject some either background or information or knowledge or whatever, or dare I say correct or provide incorrect information, I felt like it was just spewing into a void. It wasn't really worth it. And then eventually that led, of course, to somebody disagreeing with someone. I have really mixed feelings. I should just end it at that. I have mixed feelings.
And people on the board are saying disc golf course review is very cruel to noob, N-O-O-B, new players.
Mm-hmm.
That can be the case, depending on what you're what you're saying or what you're doing or this and that. It feels like a bunch of grumpy old men on disc golf course review that all know what's right. And I'm guilty because I'm there too at times.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some really good nuggets of information. There's some really insightful things there on occasion, and that's what I tend to scour for. If there's some breaking news or just like I'll go through and say, oh, this week there was the Disc Golf Pro Tour announces their baskets. I'll skim through some of the comments and be like, oh, that's a valid point that someone brings up, or there's this or there's that. But if they are the type that, unfortunately, if you say something that's not 100% accurate or 100% informed, you can get dogpiled on.
Yeah, and I've read enough on both to just SMH. I just sometimes it's disheartening to read the things that I do and that I have read, and it doesn't just have to be. It can be feedback. It can be a little bit of anything, and a lot of it just it hurts my head and my heart sometimes to read the things that I do out there.
Yeah,
and that's not meaning we're above any kind of criticism but there's just a lot of I'd like to say, well, there's a lot of misinformed people, and then someone could say, well, that's why they're there. No, there's people that like to go out there and have no problem basking in their ignorance and or their loudness.
And I'm not going to say that, there are a lot of times we are misinformed, or
I've never been,
or we don't. Yeah, sure. Or we don't have necessarily all of the facts, but we like to prognosticate or guess or assume. So, but what we try to do is provide you with our point of view as accurately as we can. And sometimes it works, sometimes it fails.
See, Kurt says he always likes it when you post. Seems to straighten out some threads. That might be, I don't know if you're talking to me or Johnny. Probably Johnny, because I don't post that much.
You don't really post too much. I like I said, I know being part of Smashbox, I have an obligation to Smashbox. I don't want to go out there and say, I hate so-and-so, this is stupid, I thought this was the dumbest thing I ever saw, how can all you people really like this? Things like that. I try to maintain a more factual way to go, and I'll throw, even facts can be slanted. I will, yeah.
You're blowing my mind here, Johnny.
Of course. So, but I try to straighten things out, and sometimes you just get to the point where you're just like, I can't untie that knot. I'm just going to leave that and walk away.
I think the coin phrase is dick bags.
Yes,
some
yes.
people are just dick bags.
Some people are just dick
learned here on
bags.
Smashbox. Yeah, and unfortunately, as Josh has said, it is just like any other internet forum, and I finally learned that as well. We're not, special or unique in any way, shape, or form that people start fights.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if you go to a forum about motocross or stamp collecting or anything else, you are going to get into the nitty-gritty of a culture that will probably, I'll go to some stamp collecting, and the one thing I think I know about stamps is that the most valuable one is like the upside down printed
Mike Tyson
bi-wing plane.
Oh, okay.
And I think I learned that from the movie Trading Spaces, or Trading Places, not Trading Spaces. That's a bad TLC. Trading Places. But anyway, if you go in there and be like, I think I got one, I guarantee you they'll rip you a new one. Like, it would, be like, you're an idiot. That's the Elvis stamp, you moron, or something dumb. It's, it goes that way everywhere you go. Anytime you get into the nitty-gritty of a culture, it can get really seedy.
Yeah. Jeremiah says he thinks that I got trolled and wanted to talk about it. No, I get trolled all the time. Unfortunately, sometimes I let myself sometimes I let myself get sucked in. That's the worst part. But no, there's nothing in particular here whatsoever that I wanted to discuss or talk about. Because there's really nothing better than
thank you, Ray. You're right. It was not Trading Places. It was Brewster's Millions.
There's nothing better than working for hours and hours and hours on something, and the first comment is some super shallow.
Hated the intro.
Yeah.
Quit watching.
Yeah.
TLDR. Don't like it.
There's nothing more satisfying than the people that have to chime in with how much they hate something after they've just watched it too. They've watched the whole thing. Oh, I really hated the ending.
Yeah,
okay.
DGN's right. Let's get to the free stuff, Terry Miller.
Oh, that means I need to think of something to give you guys, or think of a way to give it to you guys. I had one idea a moment ago, but I'm not going to go with it.
That helps everybody.
Here's what it was going to be. What's the last PDGA number issued? That would have been a good one, huh?
Maybe.
That would require a little bit of keyboard work, as most of them do. The last PDGA number issued. I'm curious now. Somebody's going to have to tell me what it is. 90,000 and something.
What's the worst picture on these?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, I'm looking through so far I'm giving it to Nate Perkins. Just because he's got a huck face, Like the picture, the picture itself is fine. It just happens to be his.
Oh, and I didn't even notice our boy Gary to the O in the background working
his huck face
the camera. The camera equipment
is not the best.
This would also be a decent. This would be a decent question that I'm not going to use, but it'd be fun for you guys to answer. The answer is 90415 for the last PDGA number. So here's another really good question. This is a good warm up for you guys that you can't Google actually. Aside from the 5 venue cards, what is the only card that is printed in a horizontal format?
That one right there.
Shh. don't let them hear that. But that was a good question. But then again, if you don't have the pack of cards, you're not going to know that.
True.
But there's been plenty of hints at that one, I will say. That would have been a great question. We'll see if anyone comes in on the board with it, though. Aside from the venue cards, which is the only other card printed in horizontal format? Don't show them.
It's right between my hands.
Ooh, Steady Ed as an answer. Absolutely not, as he's not in there. A Smashbox live coverage event trivia, something that happened from this year. Oh, okay, that's what you're suggesting. Ricky, the checklist. No, the checklist would be incorrect. Drew Gibson, Michael Jackson kick. No. Disc Golf Boy, AJ Risley is not the answer. You should give it to somebody who watched the whole show. Who was JV lobbying for Innova team champion? Would you say you were lobbying?
I would say just a little. There's, let's just say the conversation was a total of 100%. I'd say 96% of it was just comparison, and there was probably a little 4% of lobbying in there. Thinking,
you don't see why not.
I don't see why not, and I kind of feel. I got all the emotions, feelings. Where we are in a post-fact society. Fact society, I've heard.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be that way.
Just
ask anybody online.
Spit it out and worry about the facts later.
Phoenix Ruger Redbird nailed it. As far as
okay, he did.
Which card is in the horizontal way? It is the Sarah Hokum.
That is correct. There is no rules card. MC Geiske. There is no rules card.
So now how are we really going to give this away?
That would have been the perfect question, but I've got a pretty good one, and it's going to go kind of along. Here's your hint.
And you're sure about that, other than the venue card?
No, of course not.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
okay.
I have every card times a few, and
because the venue cards are.
Yeah, the venue cards are all in horizontal format. I could say which 5 venue cards. That's too easy.
I don't like that. Why make Hokum's that way?
That's a good question. Now, if it were her champion card, I think you'd have a little bit more of an argument. But
because my goal with these is I'm going to get a nice case for them, hopefully display them in a big 60 or 70 card case, and that's going to kind of mess everything up because it's going to be sideways.
Correct. And to answer you, Billy Bednar, what's on the back of the card? That's actually a pretty good question. I'll read you Sarah Hokum's, for instance. It talks about her height. It's got her weight. Which is funny that they bothered with that. I don't know why. That's a really stupid statistic. I think.
What
outside of MMA, maybe or maybe not football. I think it's a stupid stat. Period. And I'm not saying that because I'm husky. It's just a stupid stat. You're a baseball player. I don't care what you weigh. No, football, physical.
Sure.
You're throwing people
around.
But
even baseball, I think it matters a little bit.
No,
but for golf or disc golf or so many other sports, I don't think it really matters.
It's funny. It's actually funny to kind of maybe look through them all, even though it means absolutely nothing. What? I'm sorry. UDisc, get rid of that stat. That's
not UDisc, is it?
No, these are stats powered by UDisc. They came from them. They printed them. Kind of. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm going to lobby for.
It's getting rid of the weight stat.
It's genuinely useless.
It is. I mean,
does it matter what Paul Macbeth versus Wysocki or anyone? Who cares?
Because usually for most,
and you don't think it fluctuates during the year while they're on tour? I guarantee. It does.
And for most athletes, it's really a direct reflection of your height.
Hopefully. Shut up.
I said athlete.
Exactly.
I don't think you and I qualify for that anymore.
John Welch says exactly what I said. Terry's card underweight. It says husky. That's exactly right. All right, so I'm going to read you some of the things, though. It says height, 5'10", weight, I'll skip. PDGA number, turn pro, 2008. Birthplace, okay, that's interesting. Caldwell, Idaho. Hometown is Freedom, California. Home course, Pinot Lake. Favorite course, De La Viega. Who taught you to play? That's an interesting question. Is that on all of them?
Yes.
I haven't looked.
Yep, it's on everyone.
Oh, okay. And she says Ridge Runners of Qual Ridge Disc Golf Course. And then here, of course, she's sponsored by Legacy. And it says go-to discs for her driver is Legacy Outlaw. Mid-range is the Pro Discus Joker Eye. And our putter is the Legacy Prowler. And then it gives you the stats. Where she finished at all the various events. It's got a Pro Tour logo. And it's stats powered by UDisc. So as Johnny V showed you the back, this is the back of Sarah Hokum's card. So that's what's on the back of all the cards. Those I think are great. I think they're going to only continue to get better. I think the weight is just generally speaking a worthless.
You're right. It's
as someone
mostly
said,
worthless.
non-combat sports, and that's a great way to word it. So McVest can get it going. All right, let me get the answer here. I do have the question in mind. The Keegan Barsby. All right, here are your clues. The Keegan Barsby matchup will come into play for this line of questioning.
Everybody get your googly fingers ready.
Yeah, that may help or it may not. Just a little inside scoop may help you. But the Keegan Barsby matchup, that would be the category. Well, the category would be,
Category players.
There you go. And I'm going to throw you for a loop, of course, within that player category. Yes, it will help you to absolutely get your googly fingers ready.
Told you.
I'm guessing you're going to need to bust it out. And Google may or may not be the answer, though. Maybe other websites.
Spit it out already, Miller.
This is the tease. This is the long tease.
No, this is the after show. This is when people stop paying attention.
All right. And I had to look this up, so there's another clue. I mentioned earlier that both Greg Barsby and Dustin Keegan squared off this year in head-to-head battles, and we excluded one event. That was the Pro Worlds doubles, and Zoe Andike as Dustin's answer for mixed doubles partner would be too easy, who was, in fact, Greg Barsby's mixed doubles partner at Pro Worlds in 2016. Greg Barsby's Pro Worlds doubles partner in 2016. You must answer via the YouTube comment section. The first one that appears on our screen is the one that will win a free pack of cards. Follow-up hint, I had to look this up because I wasn't sure myself. I said Zoe was too easy of an answer. I think too many people would have just immediately.
They're
good friends and travel buddies.
They're the best team. Maybe not playing-wise. I love their costumes every year.
There you go. I think the Disc Man.
Oh, first night winner? Winner. Disc Man dinner.
Disc pack of cards dinner. The Disc Man seems to be our winner. Carver says I'm tech illiterate. That's not how you're going to win this one then. Sorry. The answer, in fact, submitted by the Disc Man. He was first on both Johnny V and I browsers here. Screw Google, someone says. Is Vanessa Vanden Winter. I think I think she's from Canada.
Hawaii.
All right. Vanessa Vanden Winter was, in fact, Greg Barsby. I'm so glad you got first and last name there listed, so I didn't have to argue about how much of the name, but you got it all in before everyone else. So the Disc Man, here's the procedure. Please go out to smashbox.tv/winners. Smashbox.tv/winners. There will be a quick and easy Google form to fill out with your information so that I can get your stuff shipped out, along with a previous winner or two that I've got to get shipped out, some other stuff. I had to actually get some more shipping supplies in, and those have come now. So I can ship out.
Awesome.
I told Ronald that. He already knew that. So smashbox.tv/winners, and you'll get your Disc Golf Pro Tour pack of trading cards.
That's great.
So thank you.
And if you
get any really good cards, I want first dibs on them back.
I was about to say, if you'd like, we can sign all those cards.
Yes.
Just John and Terry.
We'll open them.
Just open them and sign. Like, I'll
I
sign
didn't
Sarah Holcomb's card.
I didn't say they wouldn't. We'll do our best at impersonating at least. We'll forge their name.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it'd be rude to put our names on there. We'll forge their names the best we can. That's a good one.
Is Canada okay?
Yes, because they're going to be small enough and not expensive enough for me to incur any crazy shipping cost. I believe they're only that's fine.
Put them inside of a bag, inside of a box, inside of a bag, inside of a box.
Inside all U.S. Priority mailers.
Yes,
That's exactly how I'm going to do it.
that's how you roll.
We're not having any more giveaways tonight, but if we were, you would be ineligible for the rest of the night, Discman.
And you're ineligible next week too.
Yes.
If we give anything away next week. Just saying.
Pack them up. Make Terry open on the show and cry if he gets something he doesn't have. I'm going to go on record, Kurt, and say I now have every single card.
Oh, you got all the champion cards now?
It's cost me a pretty penny in opening packs, but I have every single card, at least one of every single card.
Nice.
I have a surplus of a couple of venue cards that once I've finally decided what I will or won't continue to open, I may have some trade bait available. It seems as if, and I don't know if this is a regional thing, granted 3 out of the 5 of events were relatively close to us, but Blue Ribbon Pines and the Silver Cup seem to be my... if I get any duplicates, it seemed to be of those. It seemed like Green Mountain Championships and the Vibram were the ones I saw the least of personally, but Silver Cup and Blue Ribbon Pines are the 2 that I've seen the most of. Can you buy a Ricky card for me? Not right now. Not a champion card. Possibly a regular card, but I have one and only one Ricky champion card. Johnny V's searching through his. I should have brought you some hard sleeves to at least momentarily store these in. Look at you.
Yep. So those are...
So Johnny V's most prized possessions thus far.
These are the cards that I currently have. I have the Ricky Wysocki champion card.
For a while, I was almost going to post yesterday or today. Could somebody post the Sarah Holcomb champion card? Because I hadn't seen the damn thing, and then I finally got it.
I have the Katrina Allen champion card.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? This would make for a good... couple of these would make for good questions where they are.
Yeah. The Green Mountain Championship card. The venue card.
For $5, tell us where that...
The Silver Cup out of Manitowoc, Wisconsin card.
Mm-hmm. Located just 90 minutes north of here, approximately.
And the Vibram Open venue card. Those are the cards I have. If you have something I don't, sell it to me. No questions asked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just contact him at terry@protestgolfer.com.
Wrong.
With your lowest price. Yeah, no. Good stuff. Good seeing cards and yeah. All right, Johnny, I think we can wrap this up. It's been a good night. We've had plenty of random conversation.
Next year we're going to have 10. There's going to be 10 venue cards, 10 champion cards.
Assuming it goes with the same formats, yeah.
Assuming there's 10 different champions, but did you get a champion card for each event you went?
I
just get one?
No, I mean he did those for what? Points and then champion at the event.
Yep.
So in theory, there would only be 2 still. Right? If he went with the same format as this year.
I don't know. How many Pro Tour events were there?
There were 5. 4.
4 and a championship. How many champion cards are there? Just 4?
There's just 4. But no, look at them once though. It says points champion.
Yep, correct.
And then
the Macbeth one says point. I don't have that, but Macbeth says points champion. I'm sorry, he's the champion. Ricky is the tour points champion.
So there would just be one of those.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying that there would be a champion. Let's say Ricky wins 2 events. Does he get 2 champion cards?
No.
He gets one champion card.
He got it. There was a tour championship card and there was a overall point series card. Just like
mind.
Bradley Williams didn't get one for winning Vibram.
Correct. Okay.
You silly goose.
Yeah, never mind. I was thinking that they would get one for each event.
Yeah.
But
Now he could.
yeah.
But
who knows what he's going to do next year?
Who knows? Yeah.
McGeisick podcast next Tuesday. Yeah, we're scheduled one for next Tuesday. It's 2 Tuesdays from now. Probably we'll end up skipping right after Christmas.
Amp Style YouTube says 3 years ago, I never would have thought at 11:56 p.m. here in Central Time, I'd be watching live disc golf podcasts where they are showing trading cards. It is kind of funny if you think about it.
Yeah, well,
that we could have that conversation, that we could be here, that we could be having a live podcast. There's a lot of things that have made it all up. So very, very interesting. Every Tuesday we're here. There may be the 27th, maybe the one Tuesday where we take off in the foreseeable future. But otherwise, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, other times in other time zones. But we're here live.
Way to go there.
Just want to cover all my bases. We are here live. There's the huge advantage to being here live is not only do you get all the information first, you get to see our silly faces and reactions, but also when you chime in on the board, we're more likely to interact, especially during the after show, and possibly if you've got a great question or some add-in that we deem appropriate, it may even get brought up during the regular show as well. So we're going to round this out just shy of midnight here tonight in Central Time. For Johnny V and myself, this has been podcast number 123. This was the all too silly and incredibly informational after show, as it always is.
Always.
We'll see you guys next week when you step inside the Smash Box.
Out.